Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining us tonight. It's Monday night, Vampire the Masquerade here on the playground. I'm Pixie Phoenix. I'm a full-time variety streamer here on Twitch, and you're joining us for some role-playing fun. I'm joined tonight by Nox, our storyteller, Skot, who plays Idaho, Zack, who is our Victor. I'm Alice, and I'm sure momentarily Martha will be joining us. How is everybody?
I was about to start singing Nickelback, but
No, not on my channel. No.
no. What I was actually going to ask you guys if I sound okay because I spent literally 3 hours today with a drill in my fucking mouth, and they like numbed the entire half of my face. So like,
Again?
Yeah, this is like last time, huh?
yep,
Yeah.
and
You just
Oh,
can't get enough.
yeah, no, that's totally my new fetish.
Well, if you hadn't brought it up, I wouldn't have noticed. And we've
yeah.
been
Oh well,
talking for the last 15 minutes, so.
if you didn't notice, then that is
Mhm.
an excellent indication for the rest of the evening and the fact that my face just fucking hurts.
Mhm.
Sorry.
It's okay. I did it to myself. All for
You did it to yourself? You put the drill in your mouth? What is your problem?
That's how you save money.
yeah. It's like
DIY, man.
it's like the guy
Amen.
in it's like the guy in Antarctica who had his appendix burst and he had to remove his own appendix.
No.
And all he had was
No.
some rot gut to make sure that he didn't even have anesthetics. He just had some rot gut to make sure that he
Mm.
didn't pass out from the pain.
Mm.
And then he had to walk around for the rest of his life with a cart rolling his giant fucking brass balls behind him.
Mhm. No
What a guy.
question.
What a guy.
Hey, Grudge in the chat. How are you? How's it going? Monday, Monday, Monday. I do always look forward to Monday. It was not something I'd ever done before.
Speaking of, since usually every time that a night passes, it's the next session. But for us, this session will still be 53 since
Yes.
we literally only got to play for 45 minutes.
Yeah, I titled us Session 53
part
Part 2.
Yeah.
Part 2 of 7.
Yeah, for you guys that that missed last week, or maybe you were there and didn't get the full explanation, but during bio break, me and Zach's kiddo had a splinter jammed pretty deep into their knee, and we're in there on bio break trying to like pick it out, and it's getting swollen, and it we couldn't get it out on our own, and she's crying and she's shaking. So we end up having to cut stream, kind of quick, fast, in a hurry, and rush to urgent care.
Mm.
So everything was removed and disinfected, and we have antibiotics. But that was why, you know, there was by what was it, by 8 we had we had logged off.
Yeah, it was prior. I think it was 7:30ish or something. I don't
Yeah,
remember exactly.
it was
Pretty
really early.
early.
It was early enough that my wife asked me. She's like, "Oh, taking your bio break early," and I was like, "Nope, we're done for the time." She was like, "What the
It was
fuck?"
a really quick session. Everybody died,
Killed them all. We're moving on to a
Yeah.
next
Don't
session.
curse us.
Anyways,
Yeah, we all had crit fail after another, one after another, and we're done.
it was like that one night at the bar when Lane was had a gun held to her head, except it was you guys, and you guys just kept getting shot down, literally.
Mhm. Mhm.
I have no recollection of this.
So tonight's definitely going to be interesting, particularly since and so before we begin, I would like to tell all the everybody who is watching and you guys as well. The location that we are going to tonight is actually a location you can actually.
Oh my
visit
God! I'm so excited! I wish I could wet my
It's a
pants.
giant, old school, haunted prison. And they do night tours. They do ASL tours. They literally do tours for. I think I saw they do tours for the blind. So you have to walk. They like and people who are not blind can sign up and they blindfold you and you have to feel your way through the prison.
Hell no.
I'd do it. I have so little left in life to incite adrenaline in my life. Like I can't ride my roller coasters. I can't do. I'll go with the freaky shit. Take me, scare me.
So yeah, so Eastern State Penitentiary was once home to Al Capone. In fact, the very famous image is Al Capone's when he was being held in incarceration in his room by himself. His room in the prison was equal to basically the Hyatt of their era in Philadelphia. Like he had his own radio in his room, he had a luxury bed, he has a writing desk. Like
It's like a Chapo.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
Chapo.
No.
Narcos. What was
Chapo.
Yeah, El
Chapo.
Chapo.
Yeah, it was El Chapo.
He was the one that bought the
He built his own
prison
prison. He
and
built
put the
his own
pool
prison.
in and like had billiards tables. Yeah.
He had his guys build the prison. You're like, oh yeah, I'll stay in prison. But okay, yeah.
Yeah, I'll stay at this country club. Why not?
So yes, so you guys can for all of the people who are watching tonight, you can in fact actually go to this location if you need a visual to get it in your mind of the type of place.
If there's if there's a website, you can put the link in the chat.
These are the same pictures we looked up yesterday, or last week. But
here,
yeah.
let me. Now I need to figure out how to open Twitch. Twitch, where are you?
Just mute the tab.
I think Shadow's gonna throw up.
Oh no, he's gonna work.
So I have put it in. I ducked in, put it in chat. EasternState.org. There is, if you just go to the website, there's a cool video that plays right at the top that will give you a excellent view into exactly what you guys are walking into and what you can expect if you go. Unfortunately, all of the pictures that they show are during the day, so you can also add some ambiance, as it were.
No, I really like the aerial art, like the archaeology, because you can see that it's like done in like a nice star. You know, all the wings are. That's really cool.
That was actually done intentionally because that way, if you stood in the middle of the penitentiary, you could literally see every single spoke and see if anybody was attempting to escape, what they were doing, blah, blah, blah. It was kind of their own version of Panopticon. So.
One of the only times I ever halfway maybe believed one of the paranormal investigator shows was, I don't remember which one it was. It used to be on Sci-Fi, so it tells you how. They were at the Stanley Hotel, and I eventually got to go there with Zach's family, but this was when Zach and I either first got together or when I was with my ex. It was the same apartment, but and they were in like the underbelly, like parts of unfinished boiler room basement-y type spots, you know. And there's like 3 of them running around with cams, so they're all seeing each other as they walk around. And there was like they got a recorded whisper. And I'm looking around and I'm like, unless they ducked somebody behind a pipe somewhere, this one kind of, So, and of all the locations that some of these people go to, I'd believe that one for sure.
So for you guys, if you would like a better tour, if you guys go to easternstate.org, explore online tour. If you go up to the menu on the top, go to explore, there's an online tour. It is basically a bunch of pins that are on a map that show the entire prison, and then you can click on any of the pins and it actually brings up a little video. It shows like where everything is in the prison.
Cool.
Wow.
It will be useful for you perhaps to know where everything is tonight. As
oh crap.
So I need to pull that up then, damn it.
Problem is it's gonna switch out my
where
yeah, it switched out my for a second, so I'm gonna have to carry this over here.
I'll link it.
here. Looks good. Okay, and you said there's a map.
Here's the link. I have put the link in the chat for everybody to see while we are waiting for.
You said there's like an overall, like just a map.
Yeah, he just put the link in the Roll20 chat. Go to Roll20 and you can get the link.
Well, I don't. Okay.
Oh, they look like video game icons. It's so cool.
You need to collect. You need to collect this item from this place, and then you need to take it to this guy who's up in this corner.
Yeah. As someone who's running through the Tomb Raider trilogy right now, you know, opening a map and seeing icons on it.
Oh boy.
This is very video game like.
I may have to just leave this pulled up. No, I have no I figured out that in researching that I have something called aphantasia, which is essentially like the lack of ability to imagine things, to actually see physical objects.
Which I didn't know was a thing. We watched a whole video of it, and she explained that was a thing for her, and I didn't realize that was like in her mind. She cannot imagine like pictures or images or rooms. Like there are people that if you say picture a table, you know, they picture a table, and even on the table is a tablecloth and like plates and candles. Like they're
just your mind brings together that
your mind brings together the whole room, the whole setting, the whole, you know, everything. And there are some people that you say picture a table, and all they can picture is the table. They can't
or even just outline
on it, or anything around it, or any rooms, or any and she's like that. And I didn't. And me being someone who, like, every time I think of something, I see like a whole setting, like a room, or that's just in my mind. I didn't know that was a thing, you know. So yeah,
and it explains why I'd never remember my dreams.
Yeah, because people that are like that usually don't remember their dreams because they're not like it's not something that
I can awake with an emotion, but I won't know why I feel that way. I don't have like a sequence of events that.
And like for me, my dreams are very vivid. Like I'm always like they're I woke up and described some of them to her, and she's just like, "What in the world?"
Weird
I'm like, yeah,
shit.
I have no clue. That's just what's going on in my head when I'm sleeping.
And so that plays into in my everyday life. I have to use Google Maps every time I leave the house. I don't care if I've been to that location 20 times by the same route. I will get confused somehow. Trying to read maps on their own and trying to explain, like if I'm in the car and I'm explaining something to Zack, and I have to look exactly and say, okay, well, go straight or north or this or that, but I can't do it from memory.
That's why I didn't know that was even a thing either.
Yeah, exactly. I was very surprised by that too. Like, I guess just because I take it for granted that in my head, like, you know, when I didn't realize that was a thing for some people to not be able to do that. But
and like I one of the questions they asked, like Zack did the table, but they actually asked about describing an apple. And so without telling Amber anything, I just walked up and I said, I want you to imagine an apple. She's like, okay. And I'm like, now describe it to me. And she's like, oh, it's like a red delicious, and it's sitting in a bowl, and it's really shiny, and it's on a table. And I'm just like, so if anybody ever wants to try to insult me by saying I have a lack of imagination, good on you.
Oh.
Now it just makes me realize that I need to be significantly more vivid in my descriptions.
That's right. That's right. It's all on you.
No, in all honesty, you do quite well. In the moments and sitting right here in being Alice, I can at least formulate, like, with the description you give, see an outline in my brain. Okay, the bar is like this. Why do you think I ask you every session, okay, wait, where's Robin's bar?
We
Because
we need to back up to the whole scene with the womb's blood. We're gonna start talking about boils, and ingrown hairs.
Mm.
And for some of you out there, that will be the first mark on your kink bingo sheet.
Is that really?
Since we
No,
brought it up,
no.
I mean, I can accept a lot of things, but I've never heard that one. Oh boy.
So if we're doing that shit, now I want to do mothership.
well, shit's another mark on the bingo card. That's
Nice.
So, I guess while we're here for a second, have you guys? So Vic is already down a willpower for the night. Everybody has spent most of their XP.
Yeah, I think we were all anticipating such a big deal from this. At least I was. That I wanted to at least try to spend some XP and get somewhat ready.
Did we discuss what you were doing? Did we discuss what you were doing with your dog? Or you left your dog? Yeah, you left your dog back at the
apartments.
To
I
guard
wouldn't
everybody.
bring him to this, and I told him to hang with Moira and do whatever he was
he's
told.
being guard dog.
So, Knox.
Yes.
Just so it's easier for me to understand in any given scenario, the intimidation power I just picked up, my Bahari power. How like do I just like announce myself as being dedicated to the Bahari? And in announcing it, those that are worshippers of Cain, like how?
So okay,
I still don't see how I would initiate it.
So there's a number of different ways in which you could do that. One, if you see somebody who you know, and again, because of it, they have to. You also have to know that they believe in Cain. I think our Mr. Starwell is trying to get here. I'm getting pinged repeatedly.
Yeah, there's issues. So I don't know.
Tech issues. She said she'll be there as soon as she can.
So that's your first thing is you need to ascertain because keeping in mind that somebody just mentioning Cain offhandedly in conversation is like somebody saying "God damn it." Like it's common for kindred to talk about it, but somebody who actually believes in the Canaanite mythos, there's any number of different ways that you can slide that into conversation. From being subtle and being like, saying something to the effect of, according to our dark mother, that's not. And rebuking them, or if they're trying to get off into the weeds about the the Book of Nod, reminding them that that Lilith was the one who took Cain in, that she's that there is a case for her to be the original progenitor. Stuff like that. Stuff like that is a like just announcing that you believe it. Might throw off somebody who knows what you're talking about, but there are certainly going to be Cainites out there who don't understand at all that there are opposing religious factions, so to speak. I'll send you a book.
Okay.
I will send you the book.
Believe me, this is completely normal for me. Through every campaign Zach and I have run together, I'll get some new ability and I'm like, I just read all the technical jargon. Now, how do I use this? And he'll be like, okay, so when an enemy comes up, and then when I can actually hear a scenario, I'm like, okay, that makes sense. Oh,
And then
Martha.
somebody else pull a new lore sheet as well?
I looked them over, considered them, but
I
I
think
never
it's just me and Martha that have them, right?
Yeah, I was gonna say. I'm pretty sure Martha pulled. Yeah, the first one is Salvador Garcia. That might be relevant tonight. Might be, maybe not. I mean, you could just start, pulling your pistol and blasting. But
You said no weapons.
that is true, and that will be enforced.
Yep.
You just need to go around with a bunch of pamphlets and say, "Have you heard about Lilith?"
No, I don't.
And then somebody's gonna follow.
That would sound too much like another D&D character that I've interacted with, and
And then there's gonna be some woman who smells like patchouli following right around after her, being like, "Have you heard of Lilith Fair?"
yeah, right. Bring in that flyer for 10% off a ticket. Oh boy.
I did read a book about Lilith, I think, and pertains to World of Darkness. If I recall correctly, her followers were pretty brutal people.
What's really interesting particularly about the myth of Lilith in the World of Darkness is that because so much of kindred society is wrapped around the of the concept of Cain, the people who are willing to kind of point out that maybe Cain wasn't in fact the original vampire, that Lilith may have been the original vampire, and that that this is the fact that there was a woman at the beginning of it who got forgotten and spurned. It's really interesting just exactly how far ahead of the curve World of Darkness was with regards to that kind of concept, because that was not something like the entire the concept of the patriarchy and all of that. That wasn't a widespread concept for most people to be talking about 20 years ago, 30 years ago, when World of Darkness first came out.
To be fair, it was also during the birth of Lilith Fair. It did kind of coincide.
We just mentioned that! We literally just talked about Lilith Fair. There's also some talk of patchouli.
Ha!
So, we are all here now, so let us, without any further ado, get started. Welcome to our Vampire the Masquerade 5th Edition Chronicle, Philly by Night. This is a continuation of Session 53. As our session starts, the 4 members of our coterie are literally standing on the steps of the Eastern State Penitentiary. There is traffic still out on the street. There are people who are wandering by, but any sort of looky-loos who are attempting to get too close to the penitentiary find themselves actually not exactly intimidated or harassed away, but certainly are frowned upon by a couple gentlemen who are wearing pseudo-police gear.
They get real uncomfortable real fast.
It's not so much just that they're wearing pseudo-police gear, which tends to drive people off. It's the large caliber assault weapons that tend to make people a little nervous, a little gun shy.
Yeah, traveling in foreign countries where that's just like the actual like thing that everybody like carries around is it's a little jarring. You're like, ah.
So, while you guys are standing there, you guys brought your. I'm going to assume, since we didn't talk about it last the end of the previous session, that you guys brought your invitation. So you're standing there. What do you guys do? Are you going to head in immediately? Are you going to try to like wander around the outside? Are you going to kind of try to see if anybody else is showing up? How are you handling your arrival on the scene?
I think I'm being observant just to see who else is there, but
I'm kind
I'm
of
not.
lurking in the shadows, just kind of observing the door.
So at this, I would say that so given the front entrance of Eastern State Penitentiary and the way that it's set up, there's not a whole lot of shadows to lurk in there. It's a pretty
Okay.
public area.
It's like right on the street.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Like either you go.
I just want to be. I guess I just want to be inconspicuous.
It's not it's standing there on the. I mean, you guys are by far the best dressed people on the street.
Yeah, kind of hard to be inconspicuous when you're so hot.
Yeah, it's better to go in quickly and quietly. I mean, like maybe do a sense of the unseen as we go up the stairs.
Idaho, you looked like you wanted to say something.
Yeah, I was gonna hide behind Vic. No, I just
Idaho is the only one in shadow.
Yeah,
I vampire crop dust them the whole way.
Oh God! Thank God that's not a thing.
bingo card. So, was there? Am I remembering incorrectly? But didn't we talk about Al was going to try to sneak in ahead to set up something so that we could broadcast the info at Elysium?
We're not there yet. You do remember correctly, but that's
okay.
that part of the plan is not. We're not there yet.
Okay. Never mind. I just was kind of confused there for a second. I couldn't remember if I was remembering correctly or not. Okay.
Also, modern day projectors are really nicely portable. They have tiny ones that you can just whoop and whoop.
Yeah, they just click onto your phone.
We have a USB stick, right? We could just, like, it should not be that hard if we need to,
Well,
but like reroute.
Well, we also don't know.
So okay, so wait, so hold on here. This is a relevant question before you guys enter through. Who here? I'm assuming Al, you've got a copy of it, of the information that you're carrying on your person. Have you distributed any more? Do you have you given backups to somebody? Is it just that one? Are you?
I mean, Gigi and the whole. I mean, they
Gigi also Gigi also has the information, but this is specific.
I would have at least left my own backup in my apartment.
No. I'm talking about among the other.
How many copies? Like how many of us have separate copies?
Oh,
I think you should.
Whoever would have wanted them.
I'll take one.
That would have been as simple. That would have been as simple as a text to everybody, getting a couple USBs set up, and then once we're together to walk in, I'm dealing them out.
That way, in case somebody, I get what you're going. That would be smart for us all to be carrying a copy just in case.
And Idaho, knowing that he's going back into prison, will shove it up his ass to hide it.
I could carry 5 or 6 of them.
They're not even USBs. They're not even like the small USBs. They're like those giant drives, like the terabyte ones. So, you guys are on the outside. Michael, you want to roll for Sense the Unseen, so that's going to be your wits and aspects. So that is wits. Your wits 3, aspects is 1, so 3 and 1. Looking around, Michael, just from where you're standing, there are multiple armed guards who are at the door, intimidating people to keep away. But even just looking around, there are multiple obfuscated parties that are basically at the corners, across the street. Cam surveillance here is heavy. And you're pretty sure it's not just cam surveillance. Some of these guys don't look nearly dressed nice enough to be members of the cam. So,
the casually clothed individuals, can I pick out whether they're like Nosferatu or maybe even Spot or anything?
From the distance you are on most of them, it would be difficult to get a real firm grasp on them. None of them seem to be demonstrating that have acted. I would say none of them that have faces that are exposed that you can see clearly seem to be demonstrating the pallor and ugliness of the sewer rats. So with that said, you guys are all heading up to the front. Okay. As you head up to the front, the one of the guards stops you, holds up a hand, and he looks over the four of you and goes, "Invitation."
I gracefully pull it in out from my.
He kind of snatches it from your hand and holds it under a light, and under the light you notice that it is your invitation, but there's additional writing that you didn't see. He hands the invitation back to you. Yes, there are in fact it is in your party, it is the four of you plus Ruby and Eugene.
Oh yeah, that's right. How can I forget my date?
And Brittany was coming along too. I don't know if she came with us or if she came by herself, but she stated she was coming.
Yes, Brittany is and Brittany. Brittany is with you guys. Both Brittany and Eugene produce their own
Invitations.
Interesting.
The guards give a terse nod to all of you and open the gates behind them. As you filter in, it is kind of I don't know if you looked at the map, but as you walk in, so there's kind of an archway, steel gates with bars, blah 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 blah, and there's curtains over that, so nobody can see in tonight.
Mm-hmm.
When you go through the curtains, you pass into that. As soon as you get in there, there is.
You're talking about like the courtyard area?
So you're not into the courtyard
yet. Okay,
yet.
we're still in the vestibule.
Yeah. Once you've gotten into there are there's even more armed guards there. And these guards are all weapons trained the entire 9 yards. They're already on you like shit stink on shit. One of them comes forth and he basically says, if you have any contraband, any weapons, turn them over.
I do, except for like
I left all mine in the car.
Yeah, I stockpiled the car, but I didn't bring anything with me.
I wouldn't think I would have brought the gun on me. The only thing I would have is the penknife, so I don't know if that counts, and I'm gonna pretend like it doesn't.
Okay. Idaho, did you bring anything in?
Like I forgot it.
I don't even think I own.
Could I slip my brass knucks in my panties?
I mean, you could, but dude,
But the blood. If the guy is a bloodhound, he would smell the brass down there. Well, it could just be your period. No, wait, no, sorry.
Vampires don't have periods.
Yeah, I totally caught up as I was saying it. It's been that kind of day, you guys.
Somebody out there, right? Yeah. Upon finding this news out, somebody out there in our crowd is going, "God damn it!" The next thing the guy says, he goes, "We are going to pat all of you down." He said, he's like, "We're giving you the option now. If there's any contraband, to hand it over." He goes, "If there's anything you need us to know about, tell us now." He said, "But we're going to pat you down before we process you on to the next stage." And
I'm going to look him square in the eye and say, "It might feel like a baton, but it's not, darling. Don't worry."
He looks you dead in the face and goes, "Scene bigger."
I just put my hands out and get ready to be frisked. I don't care.
I just keep making inappropriate conversations as comments. I'm like, "Oh yes, I'm feeling frisky." I'm just flirting with him unabashedly, and
as they go through and they feel you. They're extremely professional. They cover. These are not like your average cops who are doing a half-ass job of it. These guys are extremely thorough. Pockets, back pockets, the entire 9 yards. Any place that you could think that they might have hit something, they found.
Like what you feel there,
huh? Once they're done, the people who are frisking you step back. The man looks, he gives a nod to everybody. He says, in absence of the keeper of Elysium for tonight, he goes, the Scourge has hired us to act as the keepers for this evening. He says, we unfortunately, he says, can't tell in most cases if you are going to be using any of your kindred abilities before you use them, or in some of the more obscure cases while you're using them. He goes, to that end, we have all been given free fire options here. So if you even think about doing any of it, every single one of us will rain holy hell down on you. He said, I understand that this is not normal. He goes, given the sparse information that I have been given, none of this is normal. He says, so I am warning everybody, be on your best behavior tonight. We don't want any trouble. I'd like to see all of us get to tomorrow morning, especially me.
Hey, if we're getting attacked, then you're getting attacked, and we're on the same side. So the only time that we would use our abilities is if we're both getting attacked, and in which case we're both going to need to rely on each other. He said, but other than that, there are no abilities going on.
He nods and he goes, "That is excellent news to hear, given your size." He goes, "I would really prefer that we didn't have to do any of that."
Likewise.
So,
second, third.
I think we all can agree on being on the same page.
Yeah, as far as I'm concerned, we're both on the same page here.
He goes, "Good. If we're all on the same page, everybody knows to mind their P's and Q's." He goes, "I hope you all have a very nice evening doing whatever the fuck you all are doing." And hopefully I will still be here at the end of the night when you guys are leaving. And he gestures to the next set of doors, which they then open the gates and filter you through. In the next area, yes, Idaho.
Are these guards humans?
They are human in so much as you can tell. Could they be? Some of them could be human.
Yeah, they don't smell like vampires.
Right, they are not kindred.
Yeah,
but they might be ghouls.
Yeah, gotcha. Thank you.
So once they move you into the next area, you are now basically between the outer wall and the entrance into the main body of the prison, the very first area. There are a number of kindred who are milling around in here. There is a veritable list already of kindred who are standing there from the local scene, as well as kindred you've never seen before. Sabine is standing off to the side with Threnody and Raoul. You have Victoria, who is standing off with a whole bunch of humans who are just kind of milling around. But there is also kind of on the outskirts of it, you notice Idaho Royce is hanging around.
My favorite.
Some random individuals who are hanging around. Samantha's there.
My second favorite.
Your baby mama.
Did I mention I was hiding behind Vic? Because in case you this was reminding you that
Abrasi is there as well.
What do you think you are doing?
And so is Shakespeare.
The bard has appeared. He is not dead. Lo and behold.
The next person who actually shows up behind you and tugs on your sleeve, Idaho, is Sunny.
Oh, all right.
Sunny and Gigi actually show up from behind you. And kind of gesture to the side and say, let's get a game plan together.
Okie doke.
So, pulling you guys to the side. Gigi says, "My people have been scoping this place out since since they got word that this is where they're going to happen. They have separated out the sound system and all of the information for what they're going to be, for what Mariah is going to be showing tonight. All of that will be down in the hole, which is guarded."
How heavily?
Says, "We didn't get down in there." Says, "There's one guard at the top." So, shouldn't be too terribly difficult, but there may be more people down inside.
Said, people might be able to help us.
He says, "As for everything else," says, "you guys, as far as I know, are front row and center. Mariah's made very, very clear that you guys are supposed to be given a wide berth. Nobody's supposed to fuck with you tonight."
This is a brand new experience at Elysium.
Mm-hmm.
I fear I might get used to this.
Gigi says, "Don't get used to it." It says, "In fact, if I was you, I would be very, very prepared for things to go sideways. Because if this does not go the way that everyone thinks it's going to, Charles is still in a position of power here."
Agreed. Oh, sorry.
Well, usually sideways is kind of our norm, so
We are prepared for the worst and hoping for the best. You're gonna have to excuse the snark. It's how I deal with the stressful situations.
He goes, "It's perfectly fine.
Something I haven't been able to shake for these since the 20s.
He goes, "It's perfectly fine. I deal with everything by being a giant asshole." Sonny looks at you, Al, and Ruby, and says, "It will probably be best if you two go and head once the event actually starts. If you guys head to the hole, they're not going to screw with you on your way, so you shouldn't have any problems getting there, and then how you guys get down there is up to you."
I'm a team player.
Gigi holds up his finger to Sonny and goes, "I'm going with them."
God.
And he goes, if nothing else, he goes, "If something horrible happens, then I'll be able to get back." Gigi looks at you two and he goes, "Don't know what'll happen to you two, but..."
Nobody knows what'll happen to any of us.
Looking out for number one.
Yeah, we're used to the patriarchy.
So do we know?
I'm gonna get mine. Good on you. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Since ostensibly the Scourge is here to expose
Yep.
Senior Prince with information that we provided, do we know what she's planning to show? Do we have to pirate in our thing, or is she not showing it?
Gigi kind of holds his hands up and kind of shrugs and goes, "To the best of my knowledge, she's basically making this a giant info dump. She apparently has information she's already got, so I'm assuming that she's going to be relying on you guys to basically reinforce the information she's got."
So why are we having to sneak in anywhere to set up our presentation if we're welcomed by the Scourge to present information?
Because she might have alternate intentions.
Gigi says, "I'm going to guess she's going to assume you're going to hand this stuff directly to her."
Yeah, it wouldn't be a presentation so much as, "Oh, here you go, here's what we found out," and then it gets swept under the rug, it gets manipulated, or she takes the credit for it.
Or she'll say she found it instead of us.
So
let's not give it to her and make sure she introduces us as the people, and we have a platform to introduce it ourselves.
Keep your bits tight. Watch out for pickpockets.
Yeah.
Nobody give it up, and only agree to passing it over on stage in front of an audience. If you must.
Eugene Eugene kind of brushes some of his wig back from his face and says, should we be expecting hostilities? Or is there a... Says, what exactly is our protocol here? Are we waiting for the Scourge to play her hand and then we make the call, or are we attempting to get ahead of this?
I think it's kind of a situation of don't start no shit, there won't be no shit. Like,
As long as the
we're
skirt,
good and we have our plan, but yeah, essentially, like, I don't see why we would go on the offensive.
we just want to keep it close at hand in case she tries to take all the
Mhm.
credit for it. Like,
So yeah, so we are trying to like kind of get ahead of her. Like we're not trying to have
however, this is Elysium. We're
um
we're about to unloose some big shit. So be prepared for anything. Like I wouldn't say don't be prepared for you know. But I'm not saying don't expect it. I'm just saying be prepared for literally anything. We have no
as we
idea
said,
what's going to happen.
hope for the best, expect the worst, and be prepared.
Brittany, in a kind of terse whisper, basically says, I'm going to go find us a second way out. And
Awesome.
Bless you.
with that, she is gone. She is through the crowd, and she is even though she is not using any of her abilities, she's not obfuscating, she's not doing anything like that. Um, it is very, very obvious watching her that she has spent so much of her life attempting to not be seen that she is very, very adept at moving through crowds, moving around crowds, staying against things, being as inconspicuous as humanly possible. Um, and she is, within a matter of moments, she's out of sight.
We don't see her much, but I'm wondering if because we don't see her much, she doesn't get as much credit as she deserves.
Yeah.
Oh, she gets. I was about to say. Michael utters out loud how thankful he is for Brittany and like how much he like is grateful for her being part of his coterie. As she like disappears and cuts like a hot knife through butter into a crowd.
So it is now just the six of you. So Gigi looks at you, Al, and goes, I've got a little bit of heads up on when exactly the festivities are going to start. Says, so when it's time for you to do your work, he's like, I will come and get you. And then we'll go. Says, in the meantime, says, I suggest that you rub shoulders, make this as productive and as schmoozy an evening as possible. And
Is this where my whole scene queen thing comes in?
and with that, Gigi and Sunny both dissipate into the crowd as well. So at this point, more people have shown up. Lisa, the thin blood, the librarian, has shown up, looking very, very out of place.
Hold on, time out. Before we like, as Gigi disappears, I would like to turn to the group and say like, make sure we still have our data cards on us. Okay, because yeah. All right, that's it.
Nobody body cavity searched me. I got mine.
That you know of.
That's why I
Oh,
was saying
oh,
those security guards were
oh.
super thorough. It
No,
might have been
I
sticky
know.
too.
I
And they
know.
obviously were.
Salad
know.
fingers. No. Like getting fingered by wet toilet paper.
I usually have to pay for that kind of action.
You will. Wallace also has arrived. He is seeming to be kind of looking around in the courtyard, but he is definitely not making too much of a move to do anything, to actually go to anybody. And then, of course, because it wouldn't be appropriate for them to show up without there being some sort of incident, there is you hear a scuffle. Maybe it sounds like somebody getting hit, and the unmistakable click clack of guns being readied. And
Can we
a
tell
couple
who it is?
after a couple moments, the guards open the gate, and you can see that most of them still have their weapons trained, as the Northeast Anarchs and their entourage enter into the courtyard area.
So they just like to make a scene at every door entry line.
Hold on. Anything we can do to make them get shot at?
Do
I'm serious.
I have vampire ventriloquism? I can throw my voice.
They appear to be doing everything possible to provoke somebody into doing something like that, so would not probably take much. They are definitely acting like arrogant, upstart assholes. They are, as they are walking in like they're the ones who are throwing Elysium.
Are there any rocks nearby? I'll totally start throwing rocks at them. I don't give a shit. Come on, let's go. I saw the picture. There's got to be some like loose stone, loose gravel, something.
The next person who walks in, Michael, you have only seen once before recently. It is the very, very tall, thin man who you met at the museum. He strolls in, and as he strolls in, very, very shortly thereafter, the guards, they looked angry when the Northeast Anarchs passed through. When this guy passes through, they seem unnerved. So, you have a lot of people who are congregating in the area here. Are you guys going to wander around and be social? Are you going to attempt to wait until somebody else decides to come up to you and talk? Are you going to investigate the rest of the penitentiary? What are you guys going to do?
Do we still need to sneak in somewhere to make sure that the USB gets played, or like, are we still trying?
No, we're waiting. I'm waiting on my signal.
Okay.
That's all on me. Don't worry about that.
We're just carrying backups.
Mm-hmm.
I guess just looking for allies like Sabine and.
Right. So like, I think we should all just like kind of scatter and schmooze if we can. Like work the crowd with whichever like personal allyships we've like made.
Well, you guys have already seen Threnody, Raoul, and Sabine. They're talking with one another. And of course, you've also seen, Michael, you've seen Victoria if you wanted to go talk to her. Idaho, Samantha is always up for a conversation with you. And of course, Shakespeare is also out in the crowd.
Well, I'm definitely going to go do active mingling as opposed to just hanging back.
Okay,
Yeah.
so is everybody splitting up? Are we, is everybody staying together, or is it going to be a mix?
I want to kind of meander and just kind of play the loner, but listen intently on conversation as I'm slowly passing through the crowd. And at the same time, being that this is obviously such a wellspring of paranormal activity, just kind of see if anything happens with the cobweb as I'm wandering around. Is there anything I sense? Any new visions, voices, that kind of thing? So that's my mission.
Okay. So quick question before we get into anybody else. You said you wanted to go by yourself. Are you leaving Ruby with the rest of the crowd?
Oh, that's right. Ruby's on my arm tonight. So yeah, I would probably like kind of tell her like I just quiet, keep an ear out, don't approach anybody. We're just silent observers right now.
Okay, so you two are going to head off through the crowd. Idaho, what are you doing?
I'm going to do some smoozing. I'll go up and talk to Samantha.
So Idaho, you're going to head towards Samantha.
With Eugene. Unless Eugene wants to go do his own thing.
Eugene would love to come with you.
Awesome.
Mm.
He's your date tonight, man.
You can just tell he totally wants to recreate that musical number from Baz Luhrmann's William Shakespeare, Romeo and Juliet. Whole stairs, the entire thing.
We can be a distraction.
I'll play along.
Vic, what are you doing?
I guess just keeping an eye out, like just keeping a lookout, just trying to see who I see and keeping an eye on everyone else, basically.
So you're basically going to kind of hang back and just kind of watch.
Yeah, I kind of want to keep an eye on everyone else, just in case anyone else gets into trouble. I can be there for them. Don't know what to expect tonight.
Michael, what are you doing?
I'm doing the loop. You kind of like circle the party, see who you run into, say hi to the folks on the edges.
Okay, is there anybody in particular you're going to reach out to?
I'm just gonna go clockwise.
Okay. So we'll do this back to front. So Michael, when you head back around, you go back by the guard station, you're kind of walking along, and you run up on Victoria and Royce and all of the roses that are around her. She beckons you over, is like, "Oh my God, you look so good tonight." She is dressed in a kind of weird outfit. It is a low-cut dress, no shoulders, that shows a lot of cleavage, and also has almost like a fin. The back of the dress kind of comes way out behind her.
Okay.
Makes her almost look like she's a type of flower, or maybe a shark, or a candle that has lops fallen over, and then it's definitely custom and couture and cost a lot of money. It also seems kind of out of place given the surroundings. Royce, on the other hand, is dressed as he ever is. 3-piece suit, no tie, hanging out. His hair, his crew cut is perfectly frosted. Looks just like the extra for Val Kilmer out of Top Gun. Same smarmy asshole look on his face, like Val Kilmer from Top Gun. When you walk up, Victoria is absolutely ecstatic to see you. Royce looks at you like you're shit that's on the bottom of his shoe that he can't quite scrape off.
I know he's jealous.
Victoria looks to you and says, "This is so unusual. It's so weird not to have the keeper here, although given the events of the last several weeks, it's not surprising that Charles hasn't been able to replace the keeper quite in time for this." She says, there was some amount of note given to us that you were supposed to be given a special buy, you and your coterie. Have you done something to warrant some extra bit of accord? Are you...
No, actually, not that I can think of. I'm as surprised as you are. I didn't even see the extra bits on our own invitation until I just walked in the door.
So to be clear, you're lying. You're attempting to lie to her.
We never checked the invitation for what it actually said.
Well, she's giving a half truth, I guess you could say.
Yeah. I'm giving like a half truth. I'm like, To be fair, all of this extra was news to me upon my arrival. My first indication was the extra writing I missed on my thing, and then I've been putting two and two together. These past couple of weeks have been crazy. I don't know what this is about, but I guess it's something.
Victoria is like, huh, how strange. Royce gives a snort and goes, maybe you're being given special status because they're just trying to get the pig to the slaughterhouse. He goes, it would be appropriate here since this is where you all deserve to be.
How sad. You always did give off a bad odor. There's nothing sadder than a stinky rose.
Royce looks at Victoria and goes, good thing I smell like money.
Oh, is that what it was? It smelled like horseshit to me.
He clicks his teeth at you and looks at Victoria and says, I'm going to go find Angela and try to find a better seat for this hopefully public execution. And wanders off.
Oh, don't go. Please, stay.
Vic. As you are standing there, hanging out, watching the crowd, a man and woman, you've never seen them before, walk up to you. The man is dressed in, he's got a vest, a shirt, pair of tuxedo pants. It's all it all fits him very well. But he carries himself with a very casual grace. Not like he's too cool for all of this, just that he's very, very at ease. The woman looks to him with the almost like he is the sun and she is a flower to which his light is giving her health. She is very, very obviously deeply enamored with him and is staying very, very close to his side.
He's like a dude that literally couldn't care less.
When he walks up to Vic, he kind of looks you up and down, nods, and then extends his hands and says, you must be the kindred I have heard so much about. My name is Renato.
Hello?
He gestures. He goes, my companion, Imogen, says, you seem to be alone. Is this a new circumstance for you, or are you waiting for companions?
No, I'm just keeping an eye on people.
He goes, I've heard that you do that. He says, well, he goes, I do hope you'll apologize for my intrusion. I will let you get back to it. I just had to meet the person who I have heard so much about. Imogen looks at Renato and kind of has a weird look on her face and goes, he's very large.
I just chuckle.
Renato looks at her and goes, I'm sure the suits are custom. And arm in arm, they walk off. You do notice, however, Vic, that while you were scanning the crowd, every once in a while, it's difficult not to catch them watching you as you were watching everybody else and making comments among themselves.
Let them talk. Let them eat cake. Let them drink cake shots. Chocolate cake shots.
Idaho. As you and Eugene walk up to Samantha, she sees the both of you and gets a big smile on her face, and she smiles and says, "Is it 2 for 1 night?"
I look at it and say, only for a select few.
She goes, "Oh, I'm very select."
Of course you are.
She goes, "Speaking of selecting," she says, "So a little birdie told me that apparently you have a new hanger-on."
You mean my dog?
She goes, "No, no, 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 no. I mean the little bottle blonde that is manning your bar."
Yeah, that'll fade soon, I hope.
She goes, "I certainly hope so." She goes, "Don't," she says, "I don't know what your designs on her are." She says, "Not her. She's not worth it. She's not worth our bloodline."
Say, okay, no, I don't know what you're thinking, but there are no designs on her, so don't worry about it.
She goes, she gives you a smile and she goes, "I never did." Eugene kind of looks back and forth between the two of you and goes, "History that should be discussed, or?"
No. And I'm going to take this opportunity to introduce my date to Samantha. I don't think they've met before, have they? Even if they have, I don't care. I'll make a big presentation of it. Go, Eugene, I would love to introduce you to Samantha. Samantha, this is Eugene.
Eugene struts forward off of your arm and does the big kiss on both cheeks thing and says, he straight up looks at me and goes, "I love your hair. Where did you get that wig done?"
Ooh, catty.
And she gives a kind of strange look. She goes, "What wig?" And Eugene is like, "Oh, terribly sorry. That is so my bad."
At this point, I just leave.
This is like that catty shit that's like, oh my god, when are you having your baby? And you're like, "This is just my dinner pooch." Like, that's this kind of bitch.
I'm like, how did I get in the middle of this shit? I mean, come on.
Eugene takes you back by the arm, Idaho, and says, "Well, on this note, I suppose that perhaps we should be elsewhere," and drags you along. Samantha, as you are being dragged along, uh, kind of stares after you two. Like she's not really sure what just happened. She's not real thrilled about it, but she's not real sure about it.
She just doesn't like being confused.
Me too. I'm right there with you. What just happened?
She's like, I'm confused and I'm mad about it.
Yeah. I'm just straight up confused. What I would like to do, I'm not sure what direction that Eugene is pulling me, but I would like to try to direct us toward Thrinity and company.
So that is not a problem at all. When you get over to Threnody and company, Threnody and Sabine are talking. Um, Threnody nods and acknowledges you. Sabine, of course, gives you kisses on both cheek. Same for Eugene. Um, the the level of conversation here is much lower than it was even just a few moments ago. Um, the only thing that's really of note to you is that Raoul has his head on a swivel, but he seems like there's something that's troubling him. He seems like he's almost jittery.
Well, I'll ask him what's up. I mean, I'm assuming it feels or it's noticeably out of character, or you would not have mentioned it. So I'll just kind of scooge over close to him and just kind of say, "Is everything okay? What are you sensing? What's going on?"
He's just like he leans over and his eyes are like when he looks you in the face, like his eyes don't even look like he normally does. Like he's got kind of like crazy eyes, and he's like, I don't know, man. He's like, there's something real weird about this place. He's like, after they felt us up at the door, he goes, and then we've got in here, and there's all the cam here, and he goes, I don't know. He goes, I just feel like I got a target on my back. He goes, something is really fucked up here.
It is. Out of game, because again, I can't remember. My memory is just shit tonight. Uh, did we share the information that we found with Threnody?
Michael hinted at it, but I don't believe it was ever directly.
Yeah, I can't remember because she's been at our place for a long time, so I couldn't remember if she was part of the discovery of that or not.
Yeah, I think the phone call, and Michael can correct me if I'm wrong, was just to inform them that Elysium was going to be a big night, but I don't think we necessarily let them know what what information was gonna be released that night.
No. What I'm asking is Threnody aware of the information we have?
I think so.
Does she know we found all that shit on Charles and Victoria?
If she was in the compound when we found out about it, I'm pretty sure she was. I just don't remember a timeline if she left first or if we.
I mean, like we would have been like we told her what we were looking for and like what we were after. I think during the Great Rescue, like from her building and stuff.
Mm.
So I think that's as far as we got about our intentions. I think she knows our intentions to find proof and to like nail Charles and whoever else is involved. But I don't know if I actually told her that we like the exact proof I found.
Okay. Well, then with that in mind, I'll just basically say like to Raoul, I would go with that. I would definitely go with that and keep yourself on your toes. I mean, I certainly am not here expecting things to go peacefully.
We gonna rock the boat, baby.
I mean, look what last time. So yeah, I would definitely keep an eye out. I would definitely keep an eye on these two and yourself and us if you can spare it, because shit is going to hit the fan.
So when he acknowledges you and he's like, okay. But even as he turns away from you, and he's kind of again got his head on a swivel, looking over the crowd. It's really obvious. Like looking at him, Idaho, with your previous experience, if he was a human, you'd think that he was either wired on something, on uppers or something like that, or he was literally wired and was nervous that he was going to get caught.
Mm-hmm. That's cool.
Al, as you're walking through the crowd, kind of letting the cobweb out, you and Ruby walking around, catching snippets of conversation here. There's definitely a lot of confusion that you're picking up in the crowd. People aren't sure what's going on. People don't really understand why Elysium has been called like this. Why there are human guards that are acting here. Why hasn't there been a new keeper assigned? Why is Charles,
Right.
being lax in his duties here? Just lots of, as you're walking through, there's lots and lots of questions. People seem very, very concerned about how unorthodox everything is.
I have a
And
suspicion that the Scourge is also a Justicard.
Al, you so you are walking through the crowd with Ruby on your arm, right? She all of a sudden gets jerked back. And when you look back at who is standing there, it is Cyrus, one of the Northeast Anarchs. He is holding on to her hand, and his eyes have kind of gone blank. And then he drops her hand and he looks at her and he's like, oh no, oh no. He goes, no, please, please,
Before
please
he can
don't.
move, I grab his hand.
When you grab his hand, he looks at you, and the fear that is on his face is so palpable that he actually has tears of blood running down his face and from the corners of his eyes. He is
I start whispering.
he is deathly afraid of Ruby. Whatever he saw, whatever he thinks,
Yeah, I whisper to him. I'm trying to keep this all real on the down low. Just tell me, what do you see? What do you see? Tell me right now.
he looks at you. He reaches up and takes one of his tears, and he very, very gently reaches up and runs the blood, a little bit of blood from the corner of your eye down to your face. He says, I don't have many tears anymore. He goes, but I can spare this one for you.
What did you see when you touched her?
He kind of backs away from you, and he's kind of stumbling from the crowd, and he's just like, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
Don't let him go.
Without making a scene.
Ruby is watching all of this, like, this crazy person has just grabbed her, and now you're trying to have a conversation with the crazy person, and she's not sure what to make of any of this. So, Al, what are you going to do? What is your intention here?
Does he seem like...
He seems like he's on the verge of having a breakdown.
Yeah, so confronting him even further just isn't going to be helpful whatsoever. So I'm going to concede. I'm going to back off. Let
Might want to
him
find one of us, though.
let him back off. Let him do his thing. And then I would just, turn around and check in on Ruby and be like, I warned you. I warned you there was going to be shit that you would absolutely not expect to see or hear here, and said you behave and go along with the plan. Are you still okay to do that?
I got the multitask.
She's kind of watching after Cyrus. At about the point when you kind of back off of him, Ajax walks up and puts his arm around Cyrus. Not really like on around his shoulder, meant to look like he's kind of holding him like he's a friend, but given the obvious amount of strength and force that's being used, he's very obviously corralling Cyrus. And there are other kindred, there are other that are watching all of this that are like, what the fuck? And Ajax puts his arm out and goes, "It's all fun and games, folks. All fun and games. Nothing here to see." And then he shoves Cyrus to the ground and goes, "Fucking get. God damn it."
Yeah.
Ruby is watching this entire thing, and she just looks at you and she goes, "Why do they treat him like that?"
Well, that's kind of what makes the difference between us and them. Because I'm just as batshit crazy as that guy is, but I'm in this environment and around people that care. I have a family. They're just a collective of people that apparently use those that are having issues. And they're
Maybe it's time
obviously
to
using
convert.
him.
Maybe it's time to convert.
What did he say when he like slammed Cyrus to the ground?
What?
He didn't
What
slam
did
him. He just kind of grabbed him in like a forceful, like, come here, man, like, buddy, but like
he
real
walked
forceful.
away? I thought
And then he
I thought
drug
he
him
said-
away.
He drug him away. He didn't push him anywhere else. I thought he pushed him down.
No, it was kind of a
No, he didn't.
forceful, like, come on, man.
Okay.
He like shoved him on. He didn't shove him to the ground, but he did shove him on through the crowd.
What did he say at that moment again?
Just that there was nothing to see.
No,
He
Nothing
said
to
there's
see.
nothing to see here, and then he said like fucking this again or something.
Something to the effect of "Let's go." God damn it.
Just like exasperated.
Got it. Sorry. Thank you.
So
Sound like someone who needs a haven.
mm-hmm.
It's not like we didn't try.
Doesn't mean like we stopped trying.
So, are you all going to continue to schmooze, or are you going to attempt to kind of get the band back together and?
I mean, like, yeah, like I was just gonna do like so like when you hit the club, you're like, I'm gonna do the loop, I'll be right back, and you just kind of like do like the whole ring around the dance floor just to see like who's around and what's the space is like, and then you just like come right back. So like whoever of my coterie I met on the way, I would have probably grabbed them and we would have like collected as we.
And like I said, I never left. I just kind of stood there watching everybody else. So, everyone can come back to where I was because that's probably where they left.
Right. So like at some point, I think I would be coming up on Al in the crowd.
So
or
I would.
Idaho.
So I would say at this point that kind of what happens is that all of you meet back up on Vic. Idaho, you bring Sabine and Renity and Raoul with you.
Nope.
So the group has kind of gotten everybody together. At about this point, Gigi reappears and says, "We still got a couple more minutes, but it's about time for everybody to head in and start taking their places."
All right.
So
I keep an eye out for Brittany, see if she's like reappeared.
Brittany has not reappeared. Brittany is wherever Brittany is.
Still looking.
Yep.
Yeah,
Is-
I'm
is
keeping
still
my
looking.
eyes peeled, yeah.
And would Al have told us what happened with this person? Since like she walks up with like red blood on her face.
I would say she hasn't had time yet, mostly
Okay.
because it's about time for a bio break.
Yay!
Okie dokie.
We'll be back promptly at 10.
Yep. We'll see you guys in just a minute.
So,
All right, we're back, everybody. Thanks for joining us. It's Monday night, Vampire the Masquerade here on the playground. I'm Pixie Phoenix. I'm a full-time variety streamer here on Twitch. I'm joined tonight by Nox, my storyteller, Skot, who plays Idaho, Zack is Victor, Martha, who is
Heyo.
Michael, and I'm your Alice. And we are heading back into Take it
welcome back to our Vampire the Masquerade 5th Edition Chronicle, Philia by Night. When we left off, our coterie had schmoozed a bit with a variety of results through the crowd in the outside of the inside the walls, but within the Eastern State Penitentiary. Now, as they head in to the actual main part of the building. Now, as you are heading in to the entry wing, the first thing that you notice is that the ceilings are arced and low.
Are we at the hospital?
No, you're in the. I guess
Sure.
you would be in in that center wing walking in.
The baseball field, as it is marked.
No, the baseball field is on the other side.
Kind of like the very, very center. We've just entered into the main central.
Oh, this little triangle piece right here.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Hospital. We're at the hospital.
So as you're walking in and you're being processed through and towards, everybody is being kind of filtered into the very center of towards Panopticon. The ceilings are very low here. There are, as you are walking through, there are cells on both sides. All of them are of course empty. There's no light in a lot of them. There are, in about every other cell, catty corner to one another, there's an armed guard. So you cross one guard, next room, there's on the other side, back and forth. There are dozens of people here who are all highly armed with assault weapons. And it is a little difficult not to think about the fact that, frankly, given the high number of them with machine guns, if they truly decided that they wanted to wipe out a large number of you tonight, there's really not much that would stop the humans from doing it. Some of you might be able to fight your way out, but by and large, many of you would be cut down in a hail of gunfire.
So who would have been responsible for hiring these? The cam?
Scourge.
No, the Scourge hired them.
Okay.
Yeah, they sent it to us.
You in fact would know, or would have noticed, I guess, that the people who are here, the people who are armed in doing this, bear a very, very strong resemblance in their gear, if not their personal, demeanor, to the night that you guys were invited to a French restaurant by the Scourge when she attempted to get you to give up the Thin Bloods in your midst.
Are these the guys that me and Vic screwed around with when we had our little duo?
Yes, they would also be in the vein of those people as well.
Nice. Okay. We got this, Vic. We got this. No problem. No problem.
As you're walking in, the group is almost a veritable crowd of people who are being filtered in. There are kindred who are directly in front of you. There are kindred who are directly behind you. Everybody seems the somewhat jovial aspect, or the I guess I should say social aspect of Elysium that seemed to be going on outside in the courtyard has all but dissipated in here. Everybody feels the general look and consensus of everybody here is everybody kind of feels like they're on death row and are walking to the chamber. Nobody is comfortable, including the people with the guns, which probably makes everybody else more uncomfortable.
Yeah.
To go with it, since from their perspective, they're probably looking at it is that there's a bunch of wild animals who are basically parading in front of them that could rip them apart at any time. It goes both ways. Everybody can be afraid of everybody else, mutually assured destruction, and all that.
Okay.
So, as you guys are walking into the and heading towards the center, when you get to the center, the Panopticon has had a small round stage that has been put on it. Um, and Mariah is waiting there. Mariah, well, her hair is in full Joan Jett teased up. Her actual dress is closer to business professional. Um, so as you guys are walking in, you see all of this. What are you guys doing? How are you guys trying to plan and plot? Like, are you guys trying to figure out what's your next move? What is the collective group? What are the collective group of you doing together? How are each of you handling this?
I would think without any more information and Gigi not coming back yet, that it, I'm of the
Gigi's
mindset just wait.
Gigi is with you.
Oh, not Gigi. Or they came back.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
I think at this point, at least for
but I
me, I'm just
haven't been
kind of.
given the word to
to go. No.
go. So I'm of the mind to just wait, observe, listen, see what she has to say,
Yeah, I'm just acting normal at this point, just sitting down,
read the
or
crowd.
getting to our seat, sitting down.
I have a very specific logistic question.
Okay, go for it.
I heard someone imply that we were like had some sort of special seating front and center.
Okay.
Uh, is anyone actually trying to direct us to special seating, or are we just being allowed to go sit where we want?
No, and there's actually not space for seating.
Oh.
In the Panopticon where Mariah is standing on stage, it's basically standing room only.
Okay.
It is pretty. It's actually pretty difficult to get everybody in there. The crowd is very. It's like general admission at a really popular concert. It is a lot of kindred who are basically elbow to elbow with one
Oh
another.
God, this sucks. Okay.
Mhm.
Killing floor. Well, I'm going to
So
make sure that Vic is in between me and those guns. That's all I'm saying.
I'm gonna make sure that we have Ruby in the middle of us, just
Mhm.
because she's the most vulnerable.
Good idea.
So that we stay close, but like they got to go through us to get to her.
Ruby is definitely watching everything. She's very interested in all of this that's going on. She's definitely like looking and sightseeing and seeing everybody. She seems very nervous about all the people with automatic weapons that are around. But she seems less nervous about some of the kindred that are there. The only thing that Alice, you would notice this in particular. The biggest thing that she seems to be nervous about, or that she seems to constantly her vision kind of comes back to, is you and your face, and it's very obvious that she's looking at the bloody tear that Cyrus left on your face, and is very, very concerned. You're not sure if she's concerned because she's because of what he said. You're not sure if she's concerned because she doesn't understand.
Can I assume that between me and her having purses that one of us would have a makeup wipe or a tissue or something?
What if you tried the blood? Do you think you would get any information from it?
I don't know. It's such a small amount.
I would go so far as to say, I don't know that you would actually gain much information or insight out of it, but I would also say that if that is a role that you want to try, I can direct you to make it. Okay, so you're going to how are you going to do it? Because at this point, it's like it's already kind of dried on you. So what are you gonna kind of kind of dig off some of it and try to lick your finger, or
I'd probably wet my finger a little to get it to kind of liquid up again,
okay,
and then just kind of get what I can, and then like I said, having a makeup wipe or a tissue to clean the rest off.
okay. I'm going to say your role for this is going to be your. You know what? Let's make it your resolve and your awareness. So 4, 2, 6. So 5 and 1. I will say you're going to need a fairly high number of successes here, though, to derive
Any
any sort of use.
modifiers? Would anybody here be helping me?
Not unless you're going to start letting all the kindred near you lick your face.
Right.
I'm down. Let's go.
Oh no. That's
Do you want to spend a willpower to try to reroll up to 3? Okay.
Big money, no
God
winning.
damn.
Wow, you are not supposed to figure this out.
It tastes like blood. It tastes like kindred vitae.
Yeah,
It
yeah, yeah.
definitely when you taste it, you taste the emotional resonance of it. It is bitter and tangy and kind of almost has a fizzy feeling on your tongue. It is uncomfortable to have in your mouth. It is like having too much salt in your mouth. Is
I'd
what
probably
it really
take the tissue and just spit it into the tissue.
Ugh. Nice.
So
Not the first time you spit into a tissue.
dear
Don't forget
Lord.
your bingo cards, kids.
Ching.
Sure, that was salty too.
And
Anyways,
Oh, you're knocking him out of the park now.
Jesus Christ. Okay, so Michael, what do you, as you're walking down this hall, what is your perception here? What are you thinking?
Trying to get my words in order. I'm trying to see, get a clear understanding for the layout and how it's been like set up. See how I can like exploit it to my to my favor.
So, Vic, what are you doing while you are making this kind of walk down the hallway?
I guess just keeping an eye out for anyone that I might recognize, and then just also I'm trying to be very protective of everyone else right now. Like I know we're kind of in an unknown territory, so I'm trying to be very protective if I can.
So Vic, one of the things might be a little more troubling to you, particularly given how close you two are. It is really obvious to you that Raoul is acting out. His movements, his body behavior are erratic. He's on edge. Like he is really on edge.
Nah, I need to go try and isolate him. It seems like this might be his compulsion. I have a feeling this might be like whatever compulsion or whatever he was taken for. Tonight might be the night they try to spring whatever.
tempt him to trap him.
So yeah, I need to try and get him out.
So, Idaho, as you were following along with with these people, what are your thoughts? You've been in jail before, but probably not in prison.
No. This just feels like we're basically marching to a slaughter. I really do. I know I wasn't there when my good friend Royce said that to Michael, but that's actually how I feel. And basically, I'm kind of keeping my eye on those guys with the guns because, you know, we have tangled with them before. And as far as I know, the Scourge is still after the Thin Bloods. I really don't know what's about to happen, but I just cannot be convinced it's going to go in our favor unless it does go in our favor by the end of the night. But I'm just expecting the worst and trying to get ready for it. And keep an eye on Raul because that seems kind of weird what's going on with him.
So, as you guys enter into Panopticon, into the central room, Mariah sees you and kind of nods. She very pointedly looks at you and nods. And when she looks away for even a second, Gigi grabs your arm, Al, and says, "Time to go."
I missed all the fireworks. Son of a...
No,
set
you
them
are
off.
the fireworks. You are the fireworks.
That's the thing with fireworks. They don't really get to appreciate the reaction, do they?
Yeah.
Okay.
I get that, but
Yeah.
there are no fireworks if you don't go with GG now.
Can I ask where in the building we are right now?
So you guys are now in the very central Panopticon on the bottom floor here. In the
How
very,
do we
very
get to the
center.
bottom floor? Because I'm on ground floor.
Ground floor. Yeah.
Okay, so like it's just this building. It's just this like center place with all the hallways,
Mm-hmm.
and there's not really anything on top of it. Okay. And where's the stage?
So the stage is kind of in the middle of it. It's not a very large stage.
It's just like a little platform in the center.
Yep.
So like, where are the guys, by the way? Are they just in the hallways around us?
They're like stationed at each hallway.
Mm-hmm.
At each door. Okay.
Yep.
Wow, this is tight. This is not comfortable. Oh, there's a stage already kind of set up.
Yeah, I suppose I will try to slink out with Ruby.
So it is not difficult to kind of cut through the crowd. You guys are not the very first ones to get in there, but you're among the first to get in there. So kind of exiting stage left, as it were, with Gigi. You guys go up to the what looks like. So if you're looking at the map, you guys look like you're heading in a northeasterly direction. When you get into that wing,
East, so kind of the one that runs between the two corner buildings.
yes.
Okay.
If you were looking for the like where the baseball field is, it'd be towards the one that would be to the far corner of that.
We're talking about 1, 2, 9, 8, 7.
There's no baseball field on this map. But...
Not on my
Yeah,
map.
there is. It's on the center. If you click the center point, it's the baseball field. You get directed to the outside yard.
Mine's not clickable, but
yeah,
like I said, as long as I'm going toward the upper left corner of the map, I should understand where we're going.
Upper
kind of
right.
like top
Oh,
center.
east. I got you.
So you're heading as you're heading. When you get to the first guard, there's a guard there, and when you and Gigi and Ruby walk up, he actually draws his weapon on you. He actually draws up on you. But when Gigi shoots him a look, and basically is like, she's got free access per Mariah, and the guard kind of looks at you, and Gigi has so much authority and such, we're supposed to be here, asshole, in his voice, that the guard doesn't even bother. He's just like, whatever, and lets you guys through. As you are walking down that hallway through that cell block, it's a cell block. It's almost completely empty. There's one or two. It's on the way to death row. There's one or two people who are out there that are posted up at the very, very end of it, but you basically have a free runway from here all the way out. When you get out of the cell block, Gigi leads you to an external building. He is, as you're walking up, he's like, so, way back when, this used to be what they would use for solitary confinement. They literally had a fucking hole in the ground for these people. He was like, they would basically walk them down there and throw them into fucking dark rooms and not let them out for forever. He goes, it drove many of them crazy. He goes, so of course this is where this fucking bitch is going to set up her little server room with all of the information.
Wants to go there, so.
She goes, yeah, nobody wants to get in a dark hole with her. Shock. I am fucking shocked. He opens the door, and there is an elevator there with a singular guard who looks, compared to the rest of them, looks very lackadaisical. His assault rifle is just kind of hanging off. He's just kind of leaning against the side of the elevator. He has a full helmet on, the whole 9 yards, glass and all of that. He sees you, and he points to the three of you and says, you're the ones who just are supposed to be able to go down here freely, right?
You got it.
He goes, cool, this is the easiest $500 I've ever made.
Counting his chickens before they hatch, isn't he?
He hits the button to the elevator. The elevator doors open. And when you guys get in, he gets in with you, and he hits the button down, and he goes, heading into the hole. Meanwhile, in Panopticon, people have accumulated there. There is a line of kindred that are going down the halls. In fact, looking at Panopticon, if you're looking at the map, they are now not just kind of grouped up in the middle. There are so many kindred that have come in here between their little entourages and whatnot.
We're filling out the hallways.
That it's starting to push out into the cell blocks around as well.
Jesus.
Mariah has made sure that your group, your entourage, is right near the front of the stage. And somebody has set up a old school overhead projector.
Nice.
On stage with her. And even when she kind of meanders near it, the light still flickers a little. She comes over to your group, and she goes, do you guys have it? Are you guys bringing the information? Did you bring everything?
We're ready.
Mm-hmm.
She goes, then let's begin. She jumps up on stage and says, I know this is unorthodox. She says, I know that as I am just a lowly servant to my prince, that this is not the way that this should be done. She says, however, there has been a great wrong that needs to be avenged. She goes, And as I am the one who is charged with holding those who are accountable to account, she says, tonight is that night. Al?
I'm a little meta, but so is she saying that she's assuming the role of sheriff?
Well, she's the Scourge.
Right, but it just I don't know. That just sounds like something that someone that was, given the role of sheriff would say. But sorry.
Well, sheriff is dead, and there is no sheriff, so she might be.
That's what I'm saying, but okay.
I nominate
Want to
Dick.
interrupt.
I nominate Dick for sheriff.
So she gestures off stage, and a hooded figure with one arm is basically kicked towards the stage. He has heavy manacles go in between his one arm and his feet. His suit is torn and ripped. He looks like he's been basically. If you saw this just without knowing who was under the hood, if you saw this person out on the street, you'd assume that they were probably destitute and had lost their job and been out there for months. She drags him, grabbing the manacles and literally dragging him off of his feet and then up onto the stage. And then pulls the hood off. Charles is badly beaten.
Holy shit.
He is, one of his eyes is swollen up. He has multiple lacerations on his face. He looks frankly terrified.
And he has a missing arm?
Well, his arm was always missing.
Oh, I totally missed that. I didn't know that. I missed the missing arm. I didn't know he only had one arm.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. Props for paying attention.
Mariah stands in front of the crowd and she goes, "It has been a very long time since we have had to execute someone for violating one of the simplest traditions, the easiest ones in the Masquerade. We don't kill one another." She said, "If you are given a pass by the prince," she goes, "that is an act of justice and duty. But to attempt to enslave and experiment on our kind, to give us away to the kine, to have us murdered," she goes, "this is a violation that I cannot bear." Charles, panicked, he's holding one hand up, trying to kind of shield his eyes from the lights that are on him. Starts blubbering. He's like, "I have no idea what you're talking about. I don't know anything about this." He goes, "This is not," he goes, "none of this happened." He goes, "You are insane." So do you three just continue to watch, or do you say anything, or how do you respond to this scene? Because at this point there is now kind of a rolling murmur through the crowd watching the Prince of Philadelphia.
And he said, "This is insane." I wonder if you changed your tune, if you realized it was provable.
The crowd does the kind of, "What is he talking about? Provable? What's provable?" So what are you going to do?
Hit it, Alice.
Is Al even aware what's going on in here?
I'm going to say like,
I mean, unless there's a camera that's been placed in there and we're watching
Well,
everything
there
from
must
where
be
we
some
are.
sort of connection that you know what's going on. Is there?
No, she's in an elevator with Gigi.
Oh, you haven't arrived at the room, the room yet. Okay, never mind.
at that point, I say, do I recognize faces from like the Navy Yard?
I mean, you know, Threnody and Raoul were there. Sabine was there. There are multiple. Like it's not difficult to start singling out people who the librarian who you saw previously. She's there in the crowd too.
But I'm like just recognizing faces from there, so I know that there are people who have like who were in that experience. All right. So I would like to say, he says, he said it's insane that never happened.
Well, no, he's calling her insane.
You're insane.
Speech.
Yeah.
Speech.
Sorry, guys. I know there are people here who were at the hands of Charles and heard my accusations to him the first time we congregated. Charles is calling the Scourge insane, Mariah insane. I just think she's mad. Mad that he and those with him turned on their own. What Mariah claims is I will back up.
Threnody also stands next to you and says, Raoul and I were in that fucking hole too. So we got locked up as well. If it wasn't for Michael here, because we'd still be down there.
Vic, you had nothing to do with it. Remember, we carried you.
No, I just had to clear my throat. That's all.
And of course, no, easy, Vic. I wasn't even going to take that one. If it wasn't for my coterie, none of us would have seen another evening outside of that hellhole. And as together, we left and got out because kindred are supposed to stay together. All kindred, no matter the age, no matter what, kindred is kindred and kind is kind. And I'm here to say that we have proof that we were sold out by our own. The man who wanted to be prince, the man who wanted us to kneel.
Royce from the back of the room screams, bullshit, show us your proof.
Who's Royce again? He's with the Northeast?
No, Royce is...
No, that's Ajax.
Victoria's little bitch.
He's an asshole. Damn. Showing the proof. What the fuck?
Yeah. Did Alice get down there yet?
Okay, so, Al. The elevator... As the elevator is descending, it is becoming more and more sweltering as you are heading down. The air is stopping, isn't moving nearly as much. The humidity in the air is kind of making it very musty. If you could still sweat, you're very certain that you would be sweating in parts of your body that you would need to spend extra special attention cleaning later. It is moist, and it is humid.
There's no way servers are working down there.
It feels gross. And then it feels a little wet. glance up, and a droplet splashes onto your face, getting in your eye. Gigi looks at you, Al, and goes, "What the fuck? Are you okay?"
You mean?
Ruby, like, points to your face. She's like, "Where did all that blood come from?"
Oh God.
Like, well, trajectory states there. Not look good.
The elevator hits the bottom and dings, and the door open, with all of you looking up. And the guard looks at you guys and goes, "Fuck, where else was I going to hide the body?" Pulls a pistol and shoots Gigi in the face.
Wow, no reflex roll?
Mother.
Ruby is
Losing her fucking mind because she's no good in a pinch.
She is frozen.
Kill him, Al. Kill him.
Yeah. What would I have to roll to disarm him?
You could erase his memory.
He's wearing a helmet. I can't even see his face.
So you have.
I don't know that matters.
That would be so
I
awesome.
think it does. I think I have to actually have line of sight.
So Al, you've got a couple of different things.
We can see you can see him.
You've got cloud memory. You could attempt to actually look him in the face and try to make him forget the last couple minutes and see if it.
And manipulate him to just go back up.
Or
oh
or
my God! I'm so excited. I wish I could wet my pants.
You could also attempt to use dementation.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, let's do that.
Keep in mind that he already has an automatic weapon on him. So if you're making him crazier,
well, that's why I wanted to disarm him first.
Okay, so you want to attempt to. So you're going to attempt to disarm him.
Yeah, I want to take the gun for myself.
What if she just started eating him?
You could also attempt to pounce on him, and attempt to go for a bite. It's really up to you. If you're attempting to disarm him, that's going to be your strength and brawl.
Can she summon Victor?
That's why I thought with melee and firearms, I'd be able to disarm him first and then use the cloud memory.
So melee is with a weapon, though.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay, okay.
Hand.
I get it.
Hand to hand, melee is
weapon to weapon.
Yeah.
Like even if it was a small blade or like a slingshot or one of those.
What would
like,
the roll
sticks.
be to just take a chomp?
So to attempt to take
fucking
a chomp,
drain him.
So okay, so you're going to attempt to actually grab him
and shit. I'll I'll even try to get help in the attack and just all in one move. Tell Ruby drain him.
Okay,
and
so
the two of us.
She's kind of frozen right now. I don't know that she. Well, I'll let Knox.
Mm-hmm.
So so two things really quickly. One, when you look over at where Ruby was, she's not there anymore.
The fuck?
She used that polarity.
This is it. This is the last straw. She doesn't get to come out anymore.
Maybe she's behind
it. She wanted a chance. We gave her chances.
I'm looking
She-
for a friend.
There's no, just to kind of set this in your brain, the way that the elevator was, she would have been behind you. So there's no chance that she has managed to figure out, she was behind everybody else. So there's been no chance that she has attempted to evade you somehow.
So she's gone back
She got
up.
She got taken.
Scooby-Doo style.
So and all I'm going to say to this is you have seen her character sheet, and the answer is on her character sheet. But that's all I'm going to say. So if you are going to attempt to physically grab onto this person and take a bite out of them, it will be your strength and brawl, and you can rouse the blood. You can roll to rouse the blood to increase your strength by 1.
Okay, hold on. Sorry. I was reading. I think I know what you're. There's no description, but I think I know. Okay. So, sorry. Roll what again?
So strength and brawl, you can roll to rouse the blood to increase your strength if you want to increase your strength by 1.
Now I'm really wondering about the cloud memory because without backup, I'm at a sore disadvantage.
Yeah, I thought we all fed at the beginning of last session though, so I thought we were all like one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, on the way in.
Yeah, so it wasn't about that. It was about just killing him, taking him out, but getting the blood off the top. You know, a little greedy.
Play to your strength. Try the things you're good at.
Yeah. Let's do with the cloud memory.
Okay, so you're going to attempt to cloud memory. Let's go back. So
Sorry.
we can actually get a better of what you are attempting to do here. By uttering the phrase forget, the user can make the dominated victim forget the current moment as well as the last few minutes, enough to mask a superficial feeding or a chance meeting. No new memories are formed, and if they are pressed, the victim realizes that they have time missing. There's no cost to it. It is your charisma and dominate versus a wits and resolve roll. No roll against an unprepared mortal victim. Clouding the memory of a resisting victim or another vampire requires a charisma and dominate versus a wits and resolve roll. So for you, that's going to be your wits and dominate, which is a pretty decent pool for you here. So wits is 4, your dominate is 3.
Oh, hello.
Oh, sorry.
Hello.
I clicked the wrong.
Choose dominate first, and then in the drop down you can choose.
Yeah.
So your
Well, that's
pool.
a nice little clue.
Your pool is going to be 4 and 3, so 7, so 6 and 1.
So I do the discipline drop down and go to
Wits. And
modifier.
Yep, no modifiers.
Whoa!
Oh!
So it's not even. You rolled so high, it's unlikely that he's going to be able to overcome that. So
He doesn't even remember his birthday.
It's my birthday.
So you cloud memory, and when he is standing there, you can't see his face; it's under a mask. But all of a sudden, it's like he's standing there. He's got a gun in his hand, and he's like looking at the gun, and he's looking down at Gigi. And you can see as you're standing there watching him that he is attempting to figure out like his brain is trying to put together when he did this.
Oh
Like,
my
he seems
God,
to
I'm so
understand,
excited.
like,
I
his
wish I
body
could wet
language
my
says that he
pants.
understands that he has killed somebody.
Get him now.
But he does not seem to, like, he's trying to figure out the when and the how more than the what.
Like, gun. First of all, why don't you hand me the gun? Okay, and then I'll tell you what's going on. Does he give me the gun?
His head turns towards you, and he flings the gun through the
I'm
open
looking
door.
for a friend.
Okay. Is it close enough for me to keep eyesight, but like reach down and get the gun, or has he just like?
He's
flung it?
flung
Okay.
it.
Okay. Like, look.
Kill him. Eat him. Don't ask. Just die. For
What
your
would be the
girl,
difference?
they're
What would be the
trying to
difference?
kill her.
It's still my strength.
Is he at a disadvantage
Well,
now with the cloud memory
He's at a
thing?
disadvantage right now because he's like
he-
in
so-
a fog and he's a little lost, and he got rid of his own weapon.
So here's what I would say. Here's what I would say to that: is he's no longer physically armed. He doesn't have a gun in his hand anymore.
But he's trained.
But he is very, very, like, he is still trying to figure out, like, since you said something to him, he's looked at you, and he's now factoring. Before, he wasn't looking at you; he was just looking at the body on the ground. So now he's factoring you into the equation.
Demontate him. Oh,
So what are you gonna do, Al?
I'm split between just killing him or convincing him to go back up and walk away. But if I had the opportunity to fucking kill him, I'll just kill him. I mean, this place is already covered in bodies and blood. There's nothing else I can do in this situation. And if I send him up there, wandering around, he's gonna fucking talk to somebody, and somebody's gonna come looking. So if I can take him out and it doesn't rely on my strength, or we hope I roll okay on my strength.
Take him out while they solo.
So
Or the rest come in.
Mm-hmm.
So what are you
Listen to
going?
the smart man.
So what are you gonna do?
Kill him.
Okay, so you are going to attempt to pounce on him and sink your fangs in, correct?
Yeah, just slit his fucking throat. Just cut it
So,
just wide
so
open.
So okay, wait, hold on, because
But you don't have a...
this matters for the purposes of action here.
I just meant more like use my bite to like gash the front of his throat open. Not like
Okay, so-
I'm going to attack him, but just like
So
use
you're-
my mouth to just completely rip his throat open.
Okay, so you're not like trying to feed on him. You're like trying to actively
Dead.
like dog tear his throat.
Yes, dead.
Okay, so I'm going to need you to roll. Now you can rouse the blood to increase your strength. to
Yeah,
give you
yeah,
something
that's gotta happen.
Okay, so
Everybody say a prayer.
roll the rouse. Okay.
Whoa. All right.
You succeed. You don't get any hungrier. So you now have, for the purposes of this scene, you have 3 strength. So roll your strength and your brawl. And I'm going to tell you this up front. You're basically going to have to make a perfect roll on this.
Why'd you say it and jinx it? God damn it.
I mean, you just rolled a crit.
Oh.
holy shit!
So
Yes.
Damn!
Thank you for the
hold on.
chocolate.
Thank you,
So-
Lucky Chocolate.
before I roll the opposing roll, do you want to spend a willpower to re-roll that final die?
You can re-roll 1.
Okay.
Damn.
So
Oh, nerds!
sitting here looking for rolling scripts, and I'm just like, I don't know what I'm doing here. So it's going to be. And he will definitely reroll.
All right.
So you win with a margin of 1.
Look at that dice pool yet.
So you lunge at him, and you go to sink your fangs into his throat, and you, in his surprise, you manage to get a mouthful, but you don't manage to actually like rip his throat out. You just get a really heavy bite on him. Two things immediately happen. Now, one, you bite in, and you know that this is not a man. This is a kindred.
Nice.
Two,
Drinking him.
she didn't latch on. She just managed to get a bite on him. She didn't manage to sink her fangs in. Two, the immediate welling behind your eyes is the resonance in the blood is like nothing that you have experienced before. There's no emotion there. It is cold and empty and vast and black and bottomless. It is like tasting death itself. He shoves you away, kicking you basically off of him and out the door of the elevator. When you land, in the background, you can see a kind of dull glow. What is a server room looks like somebody has a laptop set up here with a broadcasting setup. But other than that, this is a dark, dank hole that smells a lot like blood, as if other people have died down here recently.
After he kicked me off, does it put me any closer to the gun?
The gun is somewhere out there. It's somewhere out in the room, but you would have to go searching for it.
Oh, okay.
Or I guess I should say down the hallway, since the elevator actually opens up to a kind of a hallway.
Right.
Yeah.
He stands up and retouches to his fingers to his throat, holds it up in front of him, and he looks down at you, and he said, "Man, if I'd known you had some fight in you like this, I'd have hunted you a little harder that night." Meanwhile, back at Panopticon. Mariah is standing there waiting. Charles is attempting to plead his case. And when he starts looking out to the crowd, and trying to say that she doesn't know what she's talking about, and Michael doesn't know what he's talking about. They're all conspiring, and that Mariah is a secret anarch, and Mariah, for a single second, her eyes just go jet black, and she lashes out and just backhands him so hard that it shatters his jaw,
Oh, boy's in trouble.
and blood just sprays like a fucking Gallagher concert
We're in the
on
front
the-
row, right?
on the front row.
Right.
Mariah looks to you three and says, under her breath, but pointedly, says, "The proof now."
We got someone downstairs trying to put it on the projector, but if they're running into trouble, I've got another copy right here.
So Vic, you're gonna just reach up and hand it to Mariah.
Sure. I say, yeah, this is my copy.
So she snags it, she snatches it out of your hand, and then looks at it as a USB, and then tosses it to one of the guards, who heads to a laptop that's nearby, that is probably the one that's receiving from the one downstairs. And he's like, "Sorry, just a minute." He goes,
Oh, God.
and he plugs it into the laptop. And for those who are close enough to see kind of the reflection on the mask of what he's pulling up, you can see his body language just kind of tense, and you can see him visibly having an "oh shit." And he kind of hits a button, and the audio of the meeting between Charles and Victoria and Carmelo and the man in the trench coat starts playing. On stage, Charles is listening, but he is attempting to say something, but given the state of his mouth, whatever he's saying is basically just
Inaudible. Pointless.
Yeah.
Waste of breath. He might be
Yeah,
choking
he's
on his
talking-
own blood at this point.
yeah, he's talking like a Peanuts character now. In the back of the crowd, you hear a commotion, and you can hear Victoria starting to scream.
Mm-hmm.
And
Anger or fear?
both. Starting
A little bit of denial.
anger going into panic.
Okay.
A kindred you've never seen before drags her to the front by the back of her hair and throws her at the front of the stage. So she's basically now laying on her hands and knees in front of you guys. And she looks up and she looks at you, Michael, and she goes, "I've never said these things in my entire life. I don't know what any of this is about."
And I lean closely and I say, "And why should I believe you?"
She kind of like grabs at your pants in your hands, and she's like, how often have I been there for you? How often have I tried to save you, to bring you to my side?
Your side. You sold out your side. You don't have a side amongst us now. As far as saving, I remember you being the first vulture on what was presumed to be my corpse. And then I start talking loud enough to the crowd when I say, 2 pillars in the Camarilla Tower have proven to be rotten, have proven to be so greedy, and have turned and put us all in the hands of the kind.
Victoria turns to Mariah and is like, I don't know any of what you two are talking about. She says, I don't remember ever being a part of any of this. She goes, as Primogen, I demand an investigation. I want to know what is going on.
There's video proof too, right? It's not just like one audio. Like there was like
No, there's tons of audio. There's transcripts.
there was some video files too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or was it just all audio?
No, there's video as well.
Oh yeah, so.
Do you say that, Vic, to the guy?
Yeah, so there's video too. Yeah.
When he kind of holds his hand up and he nods. He starts to play the audio for it, and he watches it for a second, and then he stands up with the laptop and kind of holds it up a little bit. Looks a little bit like John Cusack as he holds it over his head. And full screen on the screen, it is very obvious that that Victoria and Carmelo are there and talking with an unknown person, and the audio is clear enough that there's mentions of how they're going to capture people, of what they're going to do. At this point, the crowd has started to turn from curious to now they're angry.
Rabbit.
It's starting to turn. It's starting to become less of a crowd and more of a mob.
I'm going to kind of start saying a little bit under my breath, but like death, death, death.
So are you actually going to try to influence the crowd to?
Yeah. Carry out an execution.
No.
Okay.
I'm gonna like nudge you when you start doing that. Quit it.
Okay. Awesome. Louder. Death.
Okay.
Stop. And then I'm gonna.
Okay. So are you okay? So here are the questions. 1, Idaho, are you going to attempt to basically rally the crowd to execute them? Yes.
I guess I'm just going to kind of I'm doing a little bit to see how they react.
Okay. Michael, are you going to attempt to interrupt him if he starts trying to rally the crowd?
I am going to start like giving a speech, and I'm basically going to be like doing like, the cam has failed us. They say he wanted to be prince, and so did she. And here we are, and I'm going to go through the anarch kind of like the whole spiel.
Okay,
while tying it back to, it has been said that we have done nothing for our kind, but here we are because nobody does this to us and gets away with it.
Are you taking this opportunity? I'm asking this because it's 2 entirely separate roles here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but if she starts giving a speech, I'm not going to keep doing my thing.
Are you going to be using your lore sheet to attempt to gain 2 additional dice for any role involving a political debate where you invoke anarch principles? Or are you attempting to do a rallying speech, which is different? If you're attempting to advocate for the anarch movement, that's a different subject than if you're attempting to advocate against the Camarilla.
It's going to be... Let me just go. I was studying these earlier. Hold on. Inner principles for freedom. Do as our own and protect our right. Wait, where's the page?
So Knox, just to show you a little of my insight, I basically was doing that because I didn't really want Victoria to be able to take advantage of any further silence to plead her own case.
So okay, so what you're actually trying to do, aside from just rallying the crowd, you're actually trying to drown Victoria out to make sure that she can't. So you're actually attempting to
Like,
drown.
I don't want to hear her bullshit about investigation. We already did all that. But if Michael steps up and starts giving a speech, then I'm going to shut up. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to openly defy Michael. I was just trying to fill up any silence moments so that she couldn't continue to try to persuade the crowd in her favor.
Okay, so then what we'll say is that you actually do that. You actually basically when she's trying to say something and is like, I'm calling as Parmesan, I'm calling for an investigation. You actually, we'll just say that you say that you're just like, we did our investigation. We don't want to hear your bullshit anymore.
I would
Is that-
say we did the investigation. Death.
Okay.
until Michael jumps in with the speech, because we've already been through so much shit. I'm not about to entertain some asshole's thing that you have to convince me now. Bullshit. And she's a Toreador, so as far as Idaho is concerned, if anybody's going to be able to use her voice and her words to convince people, it's going to be somebody from her clan. Even where I may be wrong, that's just the way Idaho kind of perceives the Toreador.
I
Okay.
have points in oration.
So while Michael's looking that up, Alice. The man reaches up from behind and pulls the helmet off. And even though there is some blood that is trickling down his neck, it's not a whole lot. You did manage to leave fang marks on him though. Is Shaw.
Yeah. No,
Whoa!
I knew it.
He takes a step towards you and says, you know, with a boat full of so many rats, you should really plug leaks. So, what are you going to do?
Do we know if he is of the Church of Cain kind of mindset? Has that ever been revealed?
Oh yeah, no, he's a Canaanite.
Oh, that's never been discussed.
Shaw?
Yeah.
I thought that was like his whole thing with the shovel heads and the Sabbat and everybody said about him.
He's not so.
No, we have information to suggest he may not actually.
I mean, he's not.
That he may be acting on his own.
He's independent.
Oh shit!
Literally blink. Weapon I have.
What are you supposed to do?
In the
So-
on the side note, hey Storyteller, what page is the Anarch Principles found on? Because I have gone through a bunch.
There's an Anarch book.
I know.
If you're I mean, that's the entire that what I would say is the entire Anarch book. If you're looking specifically for the lore sheet that you used, it would be 190. That might give you a pretty decent indication.
It's in the Anarch. The lore sheet you used is in the Anarch book. It's on page.
Yeah, I know. I have the link.
Okay, so Al, would it help if I prompted you and gave you a couple different theoretical options here?
Yeah.
Okay, so you've got a couple different things that you can do here. You can attempt to, I mean, you know that there is a gun
That's my first thought was using my speed to close in on.
Down the hall somewhere. You could run for it and attempt to go after it, but that also leaves basically Shaw at your back.
Exactly.
You could attempt
And
to
I'm still trying to keep him distracted from me.
Ruby has not yet appeared. So.
Exactly, and I want to keep it that way. The moment he tries to focus on where the hell that other girl went, then we got issues.
So you could attempt to use some of your other powers to
Some of your strengths.
You could attempt to use Dementate to drive him off. On the flip side of that, making a crazy vampire crazier may not necessarily work in your best favor.
I always imagine that's like Berserk in Final Fantasy.
You could.
Maybe not.
He'd use Cloud Memory. Or was he? Did you already use Cloud Memory? Was that the guy you just used Cloud Memory on, right?
Yeah. Shaw was.
Yeah.
He replaced the guard to try to pull a fast one.
That was the dead body that dripped on me. The dead body of the guard he replaced. He tucked him down the shaft.
You've also got your corrosive vitae.
Yeah, I have yet to use that. Or no, I think I did once.
No, the only time that you've ever had it, you've seen it used in front of you. That was what was used on Vic. On the flip side of that, you have also managed to stick one of these blades in your mouth when it was coated in corrosive vitae, so you know it hurts.
Yeah, fuck it, let's go for it.
Okay, so what are you? So if this is the action, so what are you gonna do here? Are you going to like gash your wrist and attempt to like throw it at him? Are you going to
bite your tongue?
Bite my tongue and spit it in his eyes.
Hell yes.
Okay. So here is.
You see why me and Zack.
Okay, so I'm going to so everybody understands what exactly is going on.
Yes.
Corrosive vitae, altering the properties of some of their own blood. The user can make it highly corrosive to dead substances, able to corrode most items down to steaming sludge, given enough time and bloodshed. The user concentrates for a turn, forces blood through an open, usually self-inflicted wound, then spills their blood onto a non-living object to corrode and decompose it. Except unliving flesh such as that of the kindred. So you can't use it directly on him to attempt to burn him. Oh. But if you could use it on something to drop on him or to...
Wait, now, if it doesn't affect kindred, why did the mouth affect Alan? Why did it affect Vic?
Oh, because it was on the knife.
Ooh. Okay. That really throws an onion in the ointment.
Also, it takes a turn. So if you're choosing to do this, then you still need to, so you'll make the roll, and then you still need to come up with something else while you're doing
it. Do you have any objects on you that you could do it to and throw it at him or something?
I was thinking of everything that I might have in a small purse.
Do it to the zip drive.
At this point, I'm kind of getting desperate. Like, I'm thinking of running for the...
You're in a tough spot. I don't blame you.
Theoretically...
You've got a decent... I think you've got at least a point in firearms.
I think...
How far is she?
I have 2.
You do. You have 2 points in firearms. If you can get to that gun between your dex and your firearms, you've got a decent...
And even in between, beyond shooting him, which we know isn't going to do much, I could do the vitae on the butt of the gun and then try to whack him with it.
You could do that.
Spit down the barrel.
if
right?
if
That
shooting
would
her,
actually work.
So the gun is. So I will tell you this: the gun is also big enough that it did kill Gigi.
yeah,
Mhm.
the gun is. He took
Oh
out
yeah,
Gigi.
this is okay.
This is a 50
Yeah,
Oh,
cal.
it killed Gigi?
I'll
Oh,
I'll
shit.
I think that's best I can do right now. So
Okay.
let's close in for the gun.
Okay, so you're going to run and search for the gun.
And mind
So-
you, I'm prepping the vitae
Okay, so
because that
okay,
would be
so
used on the next round after.
okay, so you need to do a rouse check for that, for the vitae. I mean, so far your rolls have been fantastic tonight, so this should be no problem for you.
Nah, your rolls
What's wrong with
suck.
you?
There you
Rolls.
see.
you?
You need to get better. You need to get better. Your rolls have been terrible. It's your time. It's your time to shine now.
So your hunger does not increase. So now you're running down the hallway, away from Shaw. You're looking for the gun. So you're looking for your pool here is going to be your dex and your awareness. So 3 and 1.
Hey. Boom.
Do you want to roll
Oh.
willpower to re-roll 2? Okay.
Huh.
3 successes.
Hey.
So you run, throwing yourself down this hallway, down this dank hallway. And at first, you are looking for anything, any refracted light off the gun, anything that could possibly be there. When you step, and when you step, like it causes your ankle to kind of go a little wonky, and you're like, ow, and you realize you've stepped on it. So you find the gun, turn around, gun in hand, and Shaw spreads his hands and he's like, please. So
First goal is
He's
shot to the
asking
face.
for it.
First goal is shot to the face.
He's
Okay.
asking for it.
That's why I'm prepping the vitae is the backup. That's the plan B.
I thought he was gonna say, like, please don't shoot me. Well, whether or not it would have mattered, but yeah.
I would spit down the barrel before you fire the shot, and then you get vitae and bullet all in one
So-
go.
okay, so are you lining up going to attempt to shoot him?
Yes.
Okay. You're going to attempt to shoot him in the head, I'm assuming?
Whatever took down Gigi.
Okay. So your role here is going to be your dex and your firearms. So 2 things here, real quick. 1, as you're doing this, even though his arms are open wide, you can see in the light of the elevator the tendrils from his shadow are starting to reach towards you. So you know that if you don't make this shot, there's likely a lot of pain in your very, very near future.
Shit.
2, you are also well aware that he is standing directly in front of Ruby.
I would hope she'd be smart enough if she saw a gun to get the fuck down.
So, firearms and dex, 3 and 1. Do you want
To reroll 1.
spend a willpower to reroll 1? Okay.
Yes.
So
Holy crap.
the bullets, as you pull the trigger, the recoil on the gun is a hell of a lot more than you're used to from your small pistol. This is a large caliber pistol. So as a result, as you pull the trigger over and over again, you know you don't get a dead-on hit on his head. But what you do hit is his jaw, as one of the bullets goes basically straight through his chin and out the side of his face, rupturing basically his mouth. There's just gouts of VA there. And basically every other shot hits him center mass.
Oh.
He is standing there, and you can hear his ragged breathing. The shadows have not stopped creeping towards you. Meanwhile, back at Panopticon.
Oh, come on. I prepped the V-Take. God damn it.
Oh my god.
Michael, what do you say?
I'm gonna I'm gonna try and calm the crowd really from like just like a mad lynch mob into like to get something. I'm basically gonna grab down and grab Victoria and bring her next to Charles and put her down. And I'm going to try and just call out and just like get people's attention and ask the crowd, why do you obey?
The crowd is okay. So hold on. Let's do this. Are you attempting to invoke your lore sheet?
Uh,
Or
kind
you-
of not.
Okay.
I'm trying to basically like I'm getting there.
Okay. So then roll charisma and persuasion for 3, so 7, 7 and 1. You're gonna need a non-trivial number of successes here, because you are attempting to not just get the crowd on your side, but also get them to not be so hell-bent on
Lynch
focusing on
mobbing.
Yeah.
Yes, I know. So 7 and 1.
7 and 1. Did I do that math right? Wait, hold on. Did I do that math right? Charisma. Your charisma is 3, 6 and 1. Excuse me. I am so sorry.
Damn. Why did I ask?
I let you go too.
Should have just rolled.
Okay. Do you want to attempt to re-roll? Okay, re-roll 3.
How many do I get?
3. You can re-roll up to 3.
You got the 666 though. You got the mark of the beast on the.
Okay, so 5 successes. When you start telling them, what are you telling them? Why are you telling them to calm down? What are you attempting to convey to them?
I'm trying to ask them. Like I'm going to ask them. I'm like, do you only follow your beast, or are we more than that?
The crowd is very confused at this line of questioning.
Right.
Like at this point, like the murmuring of anger has kind of died down a little bit. They're all focused on you. Mariah is also focused on you, and she is shooting you a look of daggers. This is very obviously not what she wanted.
She wanted them torn apart by the crowd.
Or herself.
So,
And
so what is your? So now that
my
you,
intention?
as I say, you see, they're definitely focusing on you now, if only because they are really confused. So what is your next? What's your next step? What are you trying to do, get them to do?
Basically, I had this all thought out, and then I got really into Al's story. Shit. I was like, I know what I'm gonna do. Ooh, Kate.
You had a good speech going earlier. That was a good speech.
Basically, I'm going to go about this as, okay, like, who do you obey? Are you listening to your beast, or are we something else? Is there anything different from us? Are we any different from the kind if we're just going to like, or the werewolves if we're just going to fall upon each other when an injustice has been held, or will we do something better?
That prompts Sabine to be like, what are you? These two locked us all up. What could be better than them meeting the final death?
Oh, well.
Oh well, in that case, forget I said anything.
Taking control of this
So-
city out of Cam hands.
Basically, yeah, that's where I was going with this. I was like, yeah,
kill
these
'em, but
two
let's take
Camarillas
over.
who have ruled the city and led us all up. They were supposed to protect us, but the Cam failed us. Are we just going to like tear them apart and let them fill in the void? Or are we all together as Philadelphia kind going to
Kindred.
subject these two to judgment?
Crowd's real split. There are some people who, when you're like, "Are we just gonna tear them apart?" They're like, "Yes." When you start talking about the Camarilla, some, particularly Royce and Angela, start being like, "See, this is just political bullshit. They don't have any actual proof."
He's an idiot. He
You
just
mean the proof?
saw the proof. He
You mean the proof that's
literally-
still playing on the big screen?
The
Is
Oh, Roy.
he close-ish to us?
he's like 5 or 6 people back.
Okay. Okay.
And I'm gonna yell out like, "Hush, plaything of Victoria's."
When you say that, he instantly rebukes that. He's like, plaything. He's like, no, we're Primogen. He's like, she's my equal.
So since he doesn't want to shut up, I'm going to turn around to him and I'm going to say, so you might have been involved in this. It might be a good idea for you to keep your mouth shut. And I'm going to try to persuade him to shut up.
Okay, so are you trying to persuade
Or
him,
do you
or are you
ask him if he stands for Victoria?
or are you attempting to intimidate him?
No, I'm just basically saying, things aren't looking too good for the Cam right now. And you defending these people that we've already proved did this kind of puts you on their side. So you might be up there with people wanting to tear you up. So it might be a good idea for you to just shut up. So
Okay,
I'm trying to persuade him.
So roll your charisma and persuasion. So that is 4, 8, so 7 and 1.
Let's see if I can do this from my sheet. What do I start with, the charisma or the persuasion?
Persuasion.
Persuasion plus charisma plus 10 modifier.
Do you want to spend a willpower to
Oh,
reroll?
that sucked. What a shitty roll. Yes, I do.
And then for willpower, right underneath willpower, you can do the willpower reroll.
Oh,
And
really? Oh,
The
cool.
default is 3. So unless you're changing you can just hit roll.
Let's see, where's willpower?
So if you go down to willpower, there's a
It's right under traits.
And just
My health.
okay.
There you
So that's technically because you have already a 0 in there.
A
That's
0.
not 3
Ooh, that's a
successes.
crit.
So that's a crit. So you
Nice.
actually have, I think that's actually 5. So that's 7 successes.
7?
ooh.
So when you say that, when you implicate him in this thing, he immediately shuts up. He immediately is just like, when he realizes that he could be him up on stage here in a minute, he's like, okay, nope, never mind.
Nice.
He's definitely cutting glares at you. He sees you, he remembers you, and he is cutting his fucking eyes at you, but he does shut up immediately.
I'm going to mouth to him, you're welcome. I'm going to turn right around and go back to my group.
Okay. So, Michael, what are you... So now that Idaho has shut up your naysayer, what's your next step? What's your next... How are you going to attempt to capitalize on this?
I am gonna do now my lore sheet a little bit, but
Okay.
in the idea of that we are all free and we shouldn't be anything but equals. Um, we need to see if they can even prove their innocence.
Okay. So, using your lore sheet, you get an additional two. You get 2 extra dice in any roll involving a political date where you invoke anarch principles. Okay, so this will be your
We lost Scott. Oh, there's Scott.
your charisma, your performance, and add 2.
Okay.
So 4, 4 plus 3, 7, plus 2, 9, so 8 and 1.
Ugh! I would like to spend willpower.
You're going to
Please.
spend another willpower? Man,
Mm,
people burning willpower.
I know. I feel like this is gonna bite us in
It's
the
the
ass.
night to do it. Shit.
Right.
Damn right.
So I can do 3.
Yes. Okay, so
All right.
5 successes. You get a couple more people who are like, maybe she's right. Maybe we should actually have a real trial. Mariah is becoming incensed, and she's like, no, we are executing them now. And then a voice rings out over the crowd. And says, what if there was another way? The tall man, Michael, that you met at the museum.
Ew, the guy that's Kane.
Well, we better listen to him then.
He
He's a dude of Kane.
he raises his hand and says, why choose these 2 paths when we can choose the path of fire? He snaps his fingers above the crowd, and two things happen. One, Raoul lunges at Threnody, and she is doing everything she can to keep him away from her. He is a ravening beast. He does not even look like the kindred you know. He looks like a overly large dog, just snapping and snarling, having thrown her to the ground. The other thing that happens is 2 of the guards toss off their masks. You know both of them. One of them is Adelaide, who starts boiling the blood of a kindred who is right in front of her, who starts screaming. The other is Andrea, who starts indiscriminately opening fire into the crowd. Al, You have seconds before the shadows reach you. What do you do?
Well, I've already prepped the corrosive vitae, so I'll carry through my plan.
So what? So just to clarify, what is your plan?
The widest part of the gun has to be the butt of the gun, so I'd probably the vitae on there and then use it as a club to smash his head in.
Like
So,
that.
so you're going to spit it on there, and then you're going to throw it at him, or you're going to rush him.
I mean, I guess I'd have to rush him. I was thinking that we were closer than that if I was getting that many good shots on it.
No,
Are
you're down.
Are
you're
you
down.
out of bullets? Is Al out of bullets?
You shot him 4 times. He's shot once. So you think that you've got probably max 2 more shots.
You could pull out the magazine and spit on the last one.
Or spit down the barrel.
Keep in mind, you've got seconds. You do not have a lot of time for a convoluted plan.
2 Mississippi. 3.
Yeah, I guess I'll spit down the barrel, whatever.
Okay.
And then take the last couple of shots, hopefully to his head.
Okay, so you're going to spit into the barrel and then shoot him. Okay.
Nick, you can go click, click.
Roll your firearms and your dex again. You want to spend a willpower to reroll? You can reroll all 3.
Oh.
Okay. You pull the trigger twice. One of the shots hits him again in the chest. The other shot goes wide. At about this time, you feel the tendrils wrap around your ankles and start to crawl up along your body. It does not feel like anything else that you've ever felt. It is icy cold. It feels, and even though it looks like a shadow, just like it looked like when Mariah had Ruby up against the wall. It crawls along your body until it is up around your throat and starts to constrict. Shaw starts to stalk towards you.
Fucking it.
What are you going to do?
What can I? Sounds like I'm being held.
Your arms are still free. You still have access to. You still have Dementate. You could still strength roll to attempt to break free.
What does Dementate do? She might be. Would that help?
That's the one that's gonna make him go berserk or even crazier than he already is. So it's a crapshoot. He could go even more hog wild on me, or he could be so totally insane that he just wanders off drooling. There's no way to really predict it.
It's confusion.
Dementation. This subtle power requires nothing more than casual conversation as the vampire's insidious influence hides between the line and inflections employed. The victim finds themselves increasingly agitated as their inner demons bubble to the surface, eventually drowning out all rhyme and reason. After engaging in conversation with the victim, the user can activate this power. For the duration of the scene, the user may attack a single individual each turn in a manipulation plus dominate versus composure plus intelligence conflict, causing superficial damage to willpower. A vampire that becomes impaired by this must immediately succumb to their compulsion as chosen by the power's user.
Oh yeah, that sounds a lot. That's like your control.
That's different. Yeah, that
Yeah,
sounds
that
like
is
you have a
different
little
than
bit
what I
more
thought.
control out of it than yeah.
Yeah, fuck it.
Yeah, you can ask him
for it.
some like undermining questions to like his faith or something. I don't. I forget. I think I'm mixing up two of our characters in my head, and I think I've just like married the two.
So
But yeah,
manipulation and
So you need to do a rouse check first. Okay, you get hungrier.
It's okay. It's the first rouse check you failed tonight.
yeah. No, I'm fine with that.
Unleash the beast on his ass. Who cares?
Yeah, I don't give a fuck.
So
It's Shaw. We gotta go all out. If I knew what was going on, I'd be down there helping. But I don't know what's going on, so I'm up upstairs.
So your role is your manipulation and dominate. Your dominate's 3. Your manipulation is also 3, so it should be 4 and 2 roll.
I'm just actually trying to find it on my next time, but I see where it says demonstration, manipulation, discipline.
You need to go down to dominate, and then when you do the roll, you have to drop down for the.
So sorry, manipulation. What again?
And dominate.
So there's no discipline.
That is the dominate is your discipline.
Oh, so it just okay. Okay, I'm just trying.
Okay. Do you want to re-roll up to 3?
Well,
Of course, the API breaks right now.
of course.
Man, this is tough.
No, it sucks. Is we're not going to get through this night.
Oh, I don't think the plan was to get through this night tonight.
Oh,
I don't think we ever
so
realized we were going. Like, yeah, when we started up last week, we were like, so we're pretty sure we're not going to get through it in one night.
Does it? Yep, it's back.
Okay.
Okay.
Try again.
Reroll your 3.
No, that counts as her roll.
Those were her 3.
Yeah. Nice try. Okay. 4 successes. So his counter is composure and intelligence.
you're undead here.
I don't know. You good? We'll see.
I'm gonna see what happens because you did get a bullet in his chest, and we don't know what's going on with that.
And a
Obviously,
bullet.
nothing if Mr. Tendril is still going. I mean, really, what does it take to at least shock that out of him? You know what I mean? Like, how much do you have to do to incapacitate him enough that his shadow power doesn't work? Like, what the fuck? If any of us took a bullet like that, we'd be, I don't know.
I don't know. You're in a really tough place right now.
And all alone. That's what sucks. Is that you're down
No,
there all.
I'm not all alone. That's the bullshit of it all.
Okay.
Ruby's
so,
sitting there cowering in the corner like a little bitch.
You don't know that. If she's obfuscated, you haven't done sense the unseen. You don't know if
No,
she's in the room,
he
so.
already told me I could blatantly tell that she was right behind him.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
So that's why it was a risk to take the shot.
So when you do that, it's a tie roll. He steps back for a second as your voice in his head starts to cause him to be paranoid, starts to invoke his compulsion. You feel the tendrils around you loosen just a bit. He shakes his head and he looks at you and he goes, "Did you think that was going to work on me?" And then you hear what is obviously intended to be a war cry, but sounds instead more like somebody strangling a cat. Ruby jumps onto his back. And in his confusion, between your clouding his memory, meaning that he didn't remember that she was there, and the confusion, he is completely caught unawares by this extra person. And Ruby grabs onto the side of his head, and even though she is looking at you, she clamps her mouth over your bite mark.
Nice.
At first, Shaw gasps, and the tendrils start to constrict tighter around you. But as you are watching her throat move, and she is holding on to him and drinking as hard as she can. He falls to his knees, the look of surprise just etched on his face. And in her eyes, you start to see panic. She's looks as if for a moment like she tries to pull away and she can't. Her eyes turn black. It's almost like watching a container fill. As her eyes suddenly turn jet black. Shaw's body slumps to the ground. And she's kneeling there next to him. The shadows recede away from you. She looks down at her hands. And then she looks up at you. And shadows just pour out of every pore in her body and blanket the entire room in darkness. It is as cold as you have ever felt. You don't know how long you've been in there. But when the shadows recede, Shaw's body is still laying there. And Ruby is gone.
Gone like poof, or gone like the elevator is going up?
Like
Can I
she's
tell
gone.
anything?
If you want to attempt to glean something from this,
Yeah.
I would say roll your intelligence and occult. You have heard that La Sombra, particularly very powerful La Sombra, know how to blanket an entire area in shadow. They don't need shadows to be created by other light sources. They can just create the shadows themselves. And it would appear that that is what she has done. What are you going to do, Mal?
Is Shaw done?
His
She
body,
is sanguinated his ass.
yes, his body is laying there. She drained him dry.
Oh,
And with no sign of her, the next objective is to get to the terminal. So, can I still see the light from wherever this laptop is set up?
Yes.
Then I rush to the laptop.
Okay. What you see when you get to the laptop is the scene that is going on at the Panopticon. Basically, home dude who was holding the laptop up like John Cusack didn't realize that the laptop was also webcamming at the same time. So you see all of this happening, and you get to the laptop just in time to see that Kindred snap his fingers and all hell break loose up there.
Do I know of anything concretely that, like, would be the biggest bombshell of all these files? The one that would, like, make people shut the fuck up and stand there and listen because,
And
like,
be shot at. They're being
Yeah,
shot
I was
at.
gonna say
no,
at this
yeah,
point
they're
there's
being mowed down. This is like a Valentine massacre. Like, this is old school Chicago mob justice.
Yeah,
It's like
video
a scene
time
out of
is
The
over.
Godfather.
then my objective is fucked. I mean, what else can I do from where I am?
Come back.
drag bodies.
I would bring Shaw back.
That's that might qualify as a fairly large bombshell.
Yeah, I mean,
Shaw's dead. Yeah, it's a pretty big bombshell that he is gone. Yeah, huge.
yeah, I'll start heading back the way I came, dragging him by the nape of his jacket.
Are you? What do you? Just ask. What are you going to do with the other body? Are you also going to bring Gigi when you get to the top?
I mean, if I can drag both of their bodies into the elevator.
Gigi's already in the elevator.
Okay, so I thought. Okay, I was just imagining Gigi got out first, and that's when he got popped, and then I was on. Anyway,
No, the blood came from the elevator roof because
no,
the body was on top
that
of
blood
the.
was the guard's body that
Exactly.
he
So you
stole.
guys had to be inside the elevator for it to drop on you and you to turn
Yeah.
to Gigi and
Okay.
him to
Yeah,
look
the-
at you
the
and
guard
be
was
like,
on.
what the fuck is that?
Then yeah, get both bodies at least up to ground level, and you know what? I will text Vic that I need him ASAP 911, and he can help me drag the bodies back.
I don't know if
We-
he's gonna get it in the middle
So,
of like a firefight.
So when you get up to the top, actually, the doors open, and the first person you see is Brittany. She is.
Hmm.
She looks harried. She looks like she has.
Yeah, where the fuck have you been?
She was looking for a second way out apparently, or it might be a rat.
I'm just exasperated at this point.
She looks at you and she looks down at the what you've got behind, and she looks at Gigi's body And she's like, "Did you do that?"
Of course not. That this one did that, and that's why this one looks like that one now.
She's like, "We need to go."
But I don't think escaping in this moment is going to do any good. Are you even aware of what's going on in the vestibule?
She's like, "Yes, we need to go."
No, we need to drag these bodies in there.
Okay, so you're going to try to get Brittany to help you take the bodies with you.
Is Brittany saying anything else other than we need to go? Like, is she like we need to go help, or like we need to go back, or we need to get the fuck out of here? Like, it's
No,
just
she's
we need to
she's
go.
like she's like panicking. She's
Yeah,
like, "We need
Okay.
he
to
wants
get the
to
fuck."
leave the premises, and
Okay,
that's
she's
not
like,
going to
yeah.
do any of us good. Because number one, I'm not ditching you guys after knowing what's going on. The only other reason to leave would be to get the car ready, but I don't think we're at that point of
Or the ammo.
running to the car just yet. And you guys haven't texted me, so I wouldn't know what
Okay.
you would want me to do. So I'm gonna be bringing Shaw's body in and pulling this yo shit. Here you go.
Ooh, you
So
could even throw it at what's her face opening fire on us.
Mm-hmm.
Throw Shaw's body at her.
so what are you three doing now? You guys are not at the side of the crowd, so you guys aren't suffering the brunt of this. But you are seeing what's going on. Yeah, this is basically our last action.
I'm guessing I'm going for the main dude. I mean, I know Andrea's up there, and I haven't seen her in a while and everything else, but I kind of think he's the root of everything. Like, I'm kind of hoping, like, if I can bring him down, hopefully, then.
Did you say Andrea?
Yes.
Yeah, Andrea's one
on
of the
stage.
people
She's
who's
one of the
opening
two that was
fire
up
into
on
the
stage.
crowd.
She's opening fire on the crowd.
I heard Adelaide and Andrew.
Adelaide
Yeah.
and Andrea.
Andrea?
Our Andrea.
Adelaide.
Yeah.
Adelaide and Andrea. So Adelaide from the
Andrew.
Yeah.
No.
Adelaide from our hotel, the missing chick from our hotel, and Andrea. They're the ones on stage now firing on the crowd.
It's fucking ridiculous. Okay, let's just leave.
So no, I'm headed after the main dude on stage. I'm like bull rushing his ass. That's my final action.
Okay, so you're attempting to go after the tall thin man, Vic, right?
Yep.
Okay. Idaho, what are you doing?
I guess I'll call the beast on roll.
Okay.
I was hoping you would. I didn't want to meta game and suggest that for you, but I was hoping you would do that.
Okay, rouse the blood.
Oh, can I do that from my sheet, or do I have to?
Yep.
Where's that? Oh, here we go.
You
Nice.
get hungry?
Let me do it again. And quell the beast. How do I do that from the sheet?
So if you go down to animalism
Uh-huh.
and the things for quell the beast, if you open up the tab where all of your powers are, it is, so if you go down, so where it says power 3, quell the beast, if you go all the way to the very, very end where it says charisma discipline, and then there's a dice there, it's really light. It says discipline roll. I'm pretty sure that'll do it. Do you want to re-roll 3?
Yeah.
Okay. So when you use Quell the Beast on him, he stops snapping and snarling like he's a rabid animal. But with that under control, that certainly doesn't stop his assault on Threnody.
Well, I mean, that'll help at least. I mean, she's kind of capable of defending herself to some degree, but that's my action at least for now.
Okay, yeah, she's trying to fight back. Michael, what are you doing?
I would have probably. I mean, I would have probably blinked to who's. Okay, remind me, Adelaide. She is the one with the scary.
Venture. She's the Venture, the one that went missing.
The
Tremere.
Tremere. Sorry, Tremere.
The one we were trying to
that went
find.
missing.
The one that she was chasing.
God.
Yeah. My theory is they're being controlled by this guy, just like he controlled Raul, but who knows? So
Andrea.
The thin man, maybe that'll.
Are they at the same doorway or like next to each other?
They're kind of basically on both sides of the doorway, so they're kind of standing next to one another.
I'd like to link to them if possible and throw dread gaze at their face.
Okay, so you're going to blink through the crowd,
or like if I can like. So we're in the center, they're at the side of the door.
And there's a crowd between you.
Right.
So you can blink, but you're going to need to roll your...
Dexterity.
I think it's your dex and your athletics to do it.
I'm so glad I boosted that one.
Okay. So, do you need to... So, blink. Roll a rouse check.
Okay, hold on. I'm going to roll somebody else's rouse check. Here we go.
You don't get hungry. So roll your... So blink is your dex and your athletics.
So if I just keep re-rolling Idaho stuff, I can make it look like he's getting hungrier all the time. Okay.
What is my dex and athletics? Let me pull my card up.
Keep going. I'm not beasting out. There we go. That should be enough. I'm a beast.
Okay, it's 2 and 2.
Yep.
So I guess it would be
now you can also rouse the blood if you'd like to increase your dex.
Yeah, I'll do that too. So I'm just gonna do another rouse check. Here you go.
Okay, so it'll be 3 dex, 2 athletics, so 4 and 1.
All right, let's see if I can get to them and as fast as I can.
Do you want to reroll 3?
I'm gonna reroll 2.
Okay.
You should have just re-rolled 3 and not corrected him.
Okay, so 3 successes. You managed to blink through the crowd directly in front, and now you said you want to use dread gaze to try to drive them off?
Or just to like snap them out of whatever they're in, like, yeah. To like appear in front of them with dread gaze and kind of like, I don't know, see if I can snap them out of it or distract them or shock them from firing anymore into the crowd.
Okay.
Like a stun, like I'm trying to act like a human version of a stun grenade.
Okay. Dread gaze. So roll your rouse check again. You don't get any hungrier, and you're for this. Roll your charisma and presence.
4 and
3. So
3.
It should be 4, 3, so 6 and 1.
Hello, gorgeous. Welcome back. Ooh.
So, on that note, I'm going to make a note here.
The end of our evening. God damn it.
On the die roll.
Michael
I swear
blinks
we're all bottoms.
and uses dread gaze. And we will see what happens next session.
Dun dun dun. Fade to black to be continued.
You knew you weren't getting out of this on one night.
No, I was waiting for it to like drop. I thought it was gonna drop when like you got to like.
So it has certainly been an evening.
I just can't believe Shaw's fucking dead, and like the way it happened too. Like that just wow.
So has Ruby like just
She
transformed,
used the
or has she
power.
ceased to be?
She's Diablerized him, so which means she's
So now she
taken
has
some
all
of
of his
powers.
capabilities.
He's also no longer a thin blood.
Yeah.
Right, but she just like poofed, and I'm
Yeah.
like, is that a transformation because of her new,
No.
Or maybe she
took
doesn't
his
know
or
how to
powers.
did she
control
just
him yet.
literally poof? Did she?
Oh, it's a transformation, I'm sure. She just probably doesn't know how to control his powers yet. So it's
Yeah.
going to be a whole learning experience.
That's why Homeboy was scared of her earlier. He saw
But
it
she's no longer a thin blood, so we just solved the thin blood problem. So
Did we
Scourge
though?
won't be after her anymore.
XP has been awarded for this evening, and we will continue this evening in 1 week.
Whew.
Okay.
I doubt that was planned.
Yeah, I don't think that was the plan.
This is all deuce. I'm out.
We'll continue.
Talk
in
about a
1 week.
cliffhanger.
We'll continue this. Peace!
Well, I want to thank everybody for being with us tonight on this extended session of Vampire the Masquerade Philly by Night. I've been joined tonight by Nox, my storyteller, Skot, who plays Idaho, Zack is Victor, Martha is Michael, and I'm your Alice. I will see you guys tomorrow at noon Central Time for some City of Heroes. So, thanks, you guys. And thank you. Take care, everybody. And stick around for a raid.
Good night.